Chief Minister of Bihar.
Okay, an important day for the Deputy Chief Minister of Bihar. His first round of questioning with the Enforcement Directorate. The last time round, it was the CBI that questioned him. Munish, thank you so much for joining us. That's a wrap on this bulletin. For all the latest news and updates, you can log on to indiatoday.in. You can also download the India Today app. Thanks for watching.
Watching India Today.
We'll kickstart this edition with some breaking news just coming in. Sachin Pilot has reached the dharna site for a day-long fast. These are visuals coming in of Sachin Pilot. Remember, this has become a huge embarrassment for the Congress party with the dissent clearly out in the open. It's been brewing for a while now with Sachin Pilot now saying that he's going to sit on a dharna protesting against corruption. A huge embarrassment there for the Congress that has been observing the situation in the state of Rajasthan, where constantly Sachin Pilot and Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot have been at loggerheads. Sachin Pilot now sitting on a dharna. It's a day-long fast, and this has been advised against. The in charge of the Congress in the state of Rajasthan, in fact, issued a statement saying that if there are problems, it should be discussed from within the party, inside the party, and not at a public platform or with the press, like is being done by Sachin Pilot. Also underscoring that Sachin Pilot continues to be an important person as far as Congress's scheme of things is concerned in the state of Rajasthan. This is anti-party, however, is what the Congress says. These protests that Sachin Pilot has launched against the current political dispensation in Rajasthan, which interestingly is his own government, the government of the Congress party. In spite of warnings from the Congress party, Sachin Pilot is on a dharna. This is against his own party-led government under Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot, with whom he's been at loggerheads for days now. Dev Ankur is getting us more details on that story. Dev, once again Sachin Pilot there opening a fresh front against Ashok Gehlot, his old political rival within the party, and huge embarrassment for the Congress. Devik, if you can hear me, I was talking about the fact that in spite of the warnings, Pilot is going ahead with his dharna. Undoubtedly a huge embarrassment there for the Congress. Okay, we'll just go back to Dev in a second from now, but we're getting you all the details of Sachin Pilot's scheduled one-day-long fast. The Congress has issued a stern warning to the former Rajasthan Deputy Chief Minister and said any such thing that he does is going to be seen as an anti-party activity. Dev Ankur is there with us, getting us all the details. Dev, huge embarrassment there for the Congress with Sachin Pilot now going on a dharna, but have you spoken to him or his camp about the fact that this is being looked at as an anti-party activity and there could be serious trouble for him?
Well, Sneha, it is quite clear that Sachin Pilot has decided to take it forward. He's not backing down from a showdown. So it is quite apparent. I'm right now outside the Jyotiba Phule memorial out here in Jaipur, and minutes before from now, Sachin Pilot paid his tribute at the memorial, and thereafter he has left for the Dharna Sthal, where he will be sitting on fast. So we can tell our viewers that Pilot is not backing down from the showdown with the party high command, despite the fact that Sukhjinder Singh Randhawa has made it amply clear that this will be taken as an anti-party activity. But Pilot camp believes that enough is enough. For a long time they had been waiting in the wings that Pilot had written letters to Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot. He also claims that he had raised this as an issue before the party high command, but despite that, no action was being taken on this matter, and that is why he's going ahead with his fast. Now, if the party does go ahead and issue a disciplinary notice to him, perhaps Pilot is also ready to what seems like a possible outcome of this. He can be, asked to explain his stance, and if the party is not satisfied with that, there is a likelihood that he can be even suspended from the party. But it seems that for the time being, at least, Pilot has weighed his pros and cons, and clearly he feels that time is of essence right now, and that is why perhaps he believes that given the fact that assembly elections in Rajasthan are hardly about 6 months away, so it feels for him, he thinks that now the time is ripe for him to go ahead with this dharna and perhaps even think about other possibilities, perhaps maybe an alliance with the likes of the RLP, the Aam Aadmi Party. So there are a lot of possibilities as far as Sachin Pilot is concerned, and he's perhaps weighing all of them at this point in time. Sneha?
Really is in store for the Congress is very clear, Dev, that in the next few days to come, given this dharna today, in spite of the warnings that there would be instability in the Rajasthan Congress, and that clearly is the worst thing to happen at this point in time. We're just headed to Lok Sabha elections, and look at the narrative for the Congress that all the loyalists are leaving the party, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, Pilot knows for a fact that Congress is in a bad shape right now, but the Congress actually feels that perhaps this is designed to, somehow Pilot is playing selfish out here. The party feels that Karnataka elections are around the corner. They will be taking place next month, and for Pilot to go on a fast against his own government in a state like Rajasthan, the biggest state in the country, perhaps will mar Congress's chances, not just in Rajasthan but in other places also, like perhaps Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, where elections are due this year itself. So that is why party is not taking this very lightly. But the fact also remains that Pilot has been waiting in the wings for about more than 4 years now, and the Pilot camp also has been telling us that there were certain assurances that were given to him by the likes of Rahul and Priyanka, and when those assurances were not made good, that is when Pilot felt that this is high time. On the surface of it, Sneha, he times and again claims that if this sequence of once the BJP coming to power and then the Congress coming to power for the last around 25 years in Rajasthan, if that has to be broken, then clearly something has to change. And he feels that something is regarding the leadership in Rajasthan. He claims that the youth wants leadership change. He claims that he has given his blueprint to the party high command, but the party is not acting on it. He has also mentioned that, Sneha, last year in September, when the party CLP meet was supposed to happen, that was sabotaged by leaders of Gehlot camp, and no action, no apparent strong action was taken against them. He also feels that is also something which has really dissuaded or demotivated party workers, that this kind of a dissidence was allowed to go scot-free, and that is why also
yes, we'll just come back to you in a few seconds from now. These visuals, in fact, to tell our viewers who've just joined us, are of Sachin Pilot. These are pictures coming in live from Jaipur city. Now Sachin Pilot is sitting on a dharna against his own Congress government in the state of Rajasthan. This is an unshan, is what Sachin Pilot's camp has organized, essentially, in a huge embarrassment there for the Congress party. Live visuals on your screens from the spot where this dharna is going on, going back straight to Devankur, who continues, in fact, to be with us. Okay, so we have these visuals, in fact, coming in from Jaipur of Sachin Pilot's protest. It's a day-long dharna against, guess what, his own government. This is the Congress government in the state of Rajasthan that a Congress leader is protesting against. This is being seen as a grave indiscipline as far as the Congress's central leadership is concerned. Utterly dismayed at what's happened. They've also issued a public statement, but this has been brewing for a while, and Dave has been taking us through how this has been brewing. Dave, you were telling us about the personal ambitions of Sachin Pilot and how promises were unfulfilled, isn't it?
Sneha, is that question for me?
Yes, Dave. I was asking you about his personal ambitions and how this really has been brewing.
Well, Sachin Pilot has been a union minister, an MOS in telecom department at the centre. He has been the deputy chief minister of Rajasthan. He has also been the state president, Sneha. Perhaps, one thing that remained as an ambition for him for the last about 10 years is the chief minister's post. I've several times spoken with him, Sneha, off camera as well, and he maintains that while the Congress was in opposition in Rajasthan, he was one of the leaders who had, taken to the streets when the police was even lathi charging them, when, there were several protests, several agitations that were being carried out by the Congress in Rajasthan. He was there at the forefront. But the fact is that there were with him hundreds of party workers, party leaders, who he claims has so far not gotten their dues. So time and again, in 2020, Sneha, when that entire rebellion had happened, when Ashok Gehlot had called him Nakara, Nikamma, Gaddar, and all of those terms were coined for him, he felt that, an impression was created about him that he's hankering for the chief minister's post for himself, that he was being selfish, and that is the kind of narrative that was built about him as well. But over a period of time, over the last 3.5 years, even Pilot has matured to a certain extent. He knows now that the issues that he's raising are things which, have resonance with people. Issues like paper leak. Paper leak is a big issue in Rajasthan. There are at least around 25 lakh youths who are, directly or indirectly being impacted by cases of paper leak in Rajasthan, and there have been several of them. So he raised that matter. He mentioned that the big masterminds, the big sharks of paper leak cases should be targeted, they should be nabbed, they should be put behind bars. He also raised the matter of corruption cases during Vasundhara Raje regime. He mentioned that there have been a number of cases during the Vasundhara Raje regime. There was one case regarding carpets worth lakhs of rupees being stolen from the chief minister's office while Vasundhara was the chief minister, and there were people close to him who were, accused in that case. There was a 45,000 crore mining scam which allegedly happened during Vasundhara Raje regime. That was time and again raised by Ashok Gehlot and Sachin Pilot while Congress was in opposition. So he says that when they were in opposition, at that time they had got a number of evidences which were in a way implicating Vasundhara Raje regime in those cases. Now if they had those so-called evidence back then, how is it that while the Congress is in government, it is not pursuing those cases? Now that issue, the issue of corruption, also has resonance with people. So it is quite clear, Sneha, that Sachin Pilot now in 2023 has become much maturer, and he's raising those issues which he feels connect directly with people, and he in a way seems selfless in his attempt to try to bring about much needed change in governance, in which he claims that not just the party workers should be given due credit, but on the ground things need to change so that the party can once again come to power while being in power, which is something which has not happened for the last 20 years in Rajasthan. Congress has not been able to rule consecutively the state of Rajasthan for the last more than 20 years. So clearly, Sneha, despite his personal ambitions, despite the fact that him being really keen on getting the chief minister's post, it is perhaps these issues that he has been raising which also have resonance on the ground with people. I can tell you out here at the Jyotiba Phule Memorial in Jaipur on the birth anniversary, Rajasthan Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot can come in any moment. He might speak with the media about this act of Sachin Pilot going on fast against the Gehlot government in Rajasthan, and what will Gehlot's possible stance be is something which can be really interesting to take note of. But at this point in time, it is quite clear that a showdown, a big one at that, is quite imminent in Congress circles in Rajasthan. Sneha?
Just coming back to you for more on that story, Dev Ankur is getting us that detailed report. Visuals of Sachin Pilot now there sitting on a dharna against his own Congress government. This in Rajasthan, in Jaipur right now, with Sachin Pilot and his supporters there holding a protest against Ashok Gehlot. We have a series of reactions coming in. Let's go straight to that first.
आज जननेता आदरणीय सचिन पायलट जी एक दिन के सांकेतिक धरने पर यहाँ पर बैठेंगे। राजस्थान प्रदेश का जो युवा है और प्रत्येक वर्ग का व्यक्ति आज यहाँ पर इस धरने में सम्मिलित होंगे। पिछली सरकार के अंदर जो भ्रष्टाचार हुए हैं, इस मुहिम के अंदर पूरा युवा एकजुट है और युवा और पूरा प्रदेश यही चाहता है कि उस भ्रष्टाचार की जाँच होनी चाहिए और उस जाँच के लिए तमाम लोग एकजुट हैं और हम हमारे नेता आदरणीय सचिन पायलट जी के साथ हैं।
सचिन पायलट जी राजस्थान विधानसभा के सदस्य हैं। राजस्थान विधानसभा के 5 बजट सत्र पूरे हो गए। एक शब्द अगर वो बोले होते, क्योंकि इससे बड़ा लोकतंत्र में मंच नहीं, वो कबीना के अंदर उप मुख्यमंत्री रहे, 18-19 महीने रहे, कबीना की बैठक में प्रस्ताव लाकर बात करते तो समझ में आते। वो इस सरकार में, गहलोत सरकार में कोयले घोटाले की खरीद घोटाले की बात करते, महंगी बिजली खरीद घोटाले की बात करते, वो टीएडी के अंदर फर्नीचर घोटाले के नाम पर जनजाति के जिस तरह बजट का दुरुपयोग किया उसकी बात करते। इन कई अनुत्तरित बातें हैं, उनकी बात करते तो बहुत अच्छा रहता। मैं समझता हूँ कहीं पे निगाहें, कहीं पे निशाना चलेगा नहीं।
अरे जो भी बात है वो घर में होनी चाहिए ना, घर से बाहर नहीं होनी चाहिए। अब आप मुझसे पूछ रहे हो तो वो भी मैं वही गलती करूं जो कोई और कर रहा है, मैं भी आपसे बात करूं, वो बात नहीं करनी चाहिए। अगर मेरे मन में कोई बात होगी तो मैं मुख्यमंत्री जी से अवश्य मिलूंगा, कहूंगा, वो मेरे मित्र हैं, दोस्त हैं, हम उनका सम्मान करते हैं। अगर कुछ पार्टी के हित में होगा तो मैं उनसे कहूंगा।
Is on hunger strike not against Mr. Gehlot, for an inquiry against Vasundhara Raje ji. There is a lot of difference. You know, once he says, I am in revolt against Ashok Gehlot and his government. That is revolt. He is raising an issue regarding corruption of Vasundhara Raje and her government. That is not anti-party.
All right, so interestingly, a bit of a split in opinion as well. This isn't anti-parties, but a section of the Congress says he's taking on Vasundhara Raje and the government. But what really is Sachin Pilot protesting against? The fact is that he's raised several concerns as far as the functioning of the Ashok Gehlot-led Congress government in Rajasthan is concerned. And he's made no secret about the fact that he's unhappy with the way things have moved forward, given that he was the PCC chief and was in fact in the running as far as the top position is concerned, the chief minister's chair, and was made promises that he will in fact be occupying the position of the chief minister, but was never really made the chief minister. At one point in time, he served as a deputy to Ashok Gehlot, and Pilot was the deputy chief minister, but then he stepped down from that position as well. Now continues to be a member of the Congress party, but is raising slogans and is sitting on a dharna against corruption in the state of Rajasthan. Ashok Gehlot is soft on corruption is what Sachin Pilot says. The party in the at the central level says this is anti-party and this is against the Congress essentially, is what the Congress party has said. Let's go back once again to these pictures coming in live from Jaipur. Dave continues to be with us. Dave, in fact, we're talking about the fact that this in the next few days or so would just add to the woes of the Congress party, given that there were just so many people jumping ship, leaving the Congress, joining the BJP. It's embarrassment after embarrassment for the Congress.
Well, absolutely, and also the fact, Sneha, that the impression that Congress is a rudderless party, that the leadership is extremely lacking in this grand old party, is further cemented. That impression is further, ingrained now in the minds of people. They believe that this entire feud between Sachin Pilot and Ashok Gehlot could have been easily resolved if the party leadership would have intervened in time, if the likes of Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi perhaps would have, made the two leaders sit across the table, made them speak their mind, and perhaps this entire thing could have been resolved. Now, this is an election here in Rajasthan, and not just in Rajasthan, Sneha. Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh are also up for grabs electorally. And the fact that Congress is in such deep dissidence, in such deep troubles in Rajasthan, the fact is that it is the Congress that is likely to be worst affected in this matter. In fact, our political sources have also told us that Pilot had been in dialogue. He had been speaking with different political leaders, and an alliance between the RLP, which is led by Hanuman Beniwal. It is a regional party in Rajasthan, the Aam Aadmi Party, and if Pilot makes his own front, is not something which is ruled out. It is something which is likely to happen, or perhaps in the realm of possibility at this point in time. Also, the BJP has perhaps the most to gain in this entire thing. If Sachin Pilot breaks away from Congress, forms his own alliance, it is the Congress's fortunes that he will hurt the most. But clearly, despite all of that, Ashok Gehlot is in no mood to vacate the CM's chair, let Sachin Pilot become the chief minister. And on the ground, Sachin Pilot is one leader which Congress really should have hold on to held on to and ensured that he's made to go to other parts of the country as well. But that is something which, as I mentioned, it's the impression that it's a leaderless party, a rudderless party, a party which is not being able to hold on to young leaders, leaders like Himanta Biswa Sharma, leaders like RPN Singh, Milind Deora, and maybe even Sachin Pilot perhaps go their way in some time to come. So this is something which is really worrisome for the party and also shows that in Rajasthan, the elections, the upcoming assembly elections are something which is going to be really interesting. There can be new combinations, a new alliance, and perhaps even the arithmetics can, be in such a way that the fact that Sachin Pilot is known to be one leader who has a very strong hold in the Gujar community. Now, the Gujar community, Sneha, has a strength of around 8 to 9% in Rajasthan. Then the RLP leader Hanuman Beniwal, who is the founder of that party, has a stronghold on the Jat community in the state. The Jats are around 12% in Rajasthan. Now, if these two entities come forward and together, along with the Aam Aadmi Party, which can, target the middle class section and the lower middle class with its welfare policies and its subsidized benefits that it promises to provide to the people. Now that can really be a lethal combination, or perhaps a deadly combination politically speaking, and can really make a dent in at least 40 to 45 seats in Rajasthan. Rajasthan has a total of 200 assembly seats in the state, and perhaps if these 40 to 45 seats can sway towards this alliance, which is in the realm of possibility, then if not the king, then Sachin Pilot can most probably at least play the kingmaker. So perhaps he feels that at least that can be done, and that can salvage some pride for him, because for the last 9 years he had been dreaming of, somehow play an important role in the state politics, perhaps, take the top post.
But these are ambitions which were not fulfilled. I'll just come back to you, Dev, in a moment from now. Preeti Chaudhary is also with us. Preeti, what is the central leadership in Delhi now thinking? They've issued a notice. They've said this is indiscipline. However, they did say that Sachin Pilot is indispensable. He's important to the party. But what are they going to do now, moving forward from here on?
That's a conundrum, a big one for Sachin Pilot. Because if you look at it, Sneha, now the high command, proverbial Congress high command, has clearly picked sides. It started with yesterday, where, shortly after Sachin Pilot had announced that he's going to be sitting on a one-day fast, he might seem to suggest that this is against Vasundhara Raje Scindia and corruption. It has nothing to do with the Congress. But seemingly, it's been viewed, and especially the kind of statements he has made at the back of announcing the fast, it has been viewed as a fast against his own government in Rajasthan. Now, in midst of all of this, what really happened, if you look at the chronology, is after Sachin Pilot announces that he's going to sit on a one-day fast, you have, a unique from the Congress which comes out seeming to suggest that they have full faith in Ashok Gehlot, and Ashok Gehlot is doing a brilliant job. He's handled issues of corruption tenaciously, and they have full faith in the leadership of Ashok Gehlot. Completely skirting the issue of Sachin Pilot, not even addressing it. The Congress would have thought that they would have gotten away with it by not addressing, the big elephant in the room, which is Sachin Pilot wanting to sit on this one-day dharna. Then, late at night, at about 11:30 at night, the Congress in charge then issues out an official communique. In the meanwhile, Sneha, the Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot has been down with COVID. So, he's not making any public statements, but clearly it mustn't have gone down well at all with Ashok Gehlot, who wanted the Congress to give out a stern message. And that really happened at 11:30 at night, when the Congress in charge, Mr. Randhawa of Rajasthan, sent out an official communique saying that if Sachin Pilot actually sits on this fast, it's going to be anti-party activity. So the Congress has clearly fixed sides. What we are being given to understand that of late, Sachin Pilot feels he's been completely pushed into a corner. He's been waiting his time for whatever promises he says were promised to him to be delivered, especially after the fiasco of the CLT of what went down a few months ago. He has been trying to get in touch with the Congress High Command. That's, his text messages, as per our sources, are going unanswered. So this is his last throw of the dice, Sneha, if you look at it politically speaking. Because 6 months. That's it. You have 6 months to Rajasthan election. Will somebody like Sachin Pilot decide to sit this election out to say, I'm going to bide my time? Whereas many would suggest he's only 45 and maybe he should do that. But, you know, of what we've seen, is he a man in a hurry, of course. We've seen, right from 2020, where he put together the rebellion of sorts to what went down in the CLP meet. His entire Jan Sampark Yatra, which he's been on, over the last couple of months. It would be also interesting to note who is he meeting in this, the rallies that have taken place, the Jan Sabhas that have taken place over the course of the last few months by Sachin Pilot have, interesting to note, been consolidated only in the Jat Gujar belt. So with what Dave was also pointing out, could be an option, because does Sachin Pilot really have an option right now? Because by sitting on this path, he's made it very clear. It was a catch-22 situation for Sachin Pilot. To sit or not to sit, because to sit, he's made it clear that he's indulged in anti-party activities. What our sources are also telling us, Neha, that Sachin Pilot has made it amply clear that it's not going to be a community letter by Mr. Randhawa that he's going to abide by. He needs to speak directly to the High Command or at least Mr. Kharge.
Yes.
Mr. Kharge, when he came in, at last time he was one of the observers before, of course, he became president.
Yes.
He was one of the observers with Mr. Ajay Makan, who had come, from Delhi to Jaipur for the CLP, where the decision of possible change of power had to be made. And at that point of time, Mr. Kharge had noted and thereafter had also, apparently seems to have sided with, Sachin Pilot's cause. But of late, since he's become president, there is, a feeling in the pro-Sachin Pilot camp that Mr. Kharge has made his deal with Ashok Gehlot. It was practically done in his views. If you look at it, the proverbial High Command cowered down to what Ashok Gehlot wanted. They couldn't take him down to Delhi to become president. They wanted him to do that and make place for Sachin Pilot. That never quite happened. Ashok Gehlot dug in his views. The entire fiasco of the CLP with the MLAs never quite showed up. What was promised was disciplinary action against 4 or 5 of them. Has that actually happened? Absolutely not.
Absolutely.
So Sachin Pilot has enough to be disgruntled about, but on the other side, when he's now sitting on this path, he's made it very clear that he has indulged in anti-party activities, because there was an official statement of the same. So what does Sachin Pilot do now? Does he really have any options? Let's look at the surround sound in all of this. Early this morning, you had, Mr. Hanuman Beniwal of the RLC party, which even Dave was pointing out is representing, the Brahts community in particular, come out and say that Sachin Pilot needs to leave the Congress and join him. He's made this official and fight the good fight against corruption. What we are also given to understand by our sources is that Hanuman Beniwal, post 2 o'clock, might also make his way to where Sachin Pilot is sitting. But Sachin Pilot is, of course, off now, made sure that he doesn't want anybody else on the podium. The Aam Aadmi Party, Rajasthan unit.
Preeti, we'll just talk about that in a few moments from now with you. Just coming back to you in a few moments from now. Sachin Pilot, in fact, has accused Gehlot government of shielding the BJP. He's actually gone to the extent of saying that Vasundhara Raje and Ashok Gehlot seem to be having a pact. Listen in to what he had said earlier.
मैंने कभी भी प्रतिशोध की भावना के साथ या द्वेषपूर्ण भावना के साथ कार्रवाई करने पर ना कभी मैं पहले सहमत था, ना आज सहमत हूँ। लेकिन ये बात भी सच है कि विपक्ष में रहते हुए हमारी जो विश्वसनीयता थी वो तभी कायम रह सकती है जब हम अपनी बात पर खरा उतरें। इसको लेकर मैं बहुत चिंतित था और आज से लगभग साल सवा साल पहले मैंने मुख्यमंत्री अशोक गहलोत जी को चिट्ठी लिखी। उनको मैंने कहा, वो चिट्ठी मेरे साथ है, मेरे सामने है, मैंने बड़े विस्तार से पूरे घटनाक्रम का विवरण उसमें रखा और मैंने कहा कि हमारी सरकार को बने अब लगभग 3.5 साल हो गए। उस समय अब समय आ गया कि हम लोग अपने वादों पर खरा उतरें। जो आरोप हमने लगाए थे, गहलोत जी ने लगाए, मैंने लगाए, भू माफिया के, शराब माफिया के, खनन माफिया के, 9TP को लेकर, ललित मोदी को लेकर, खान माफिया को लेकर, खान का बड़ा घोटाला हुआ था, वो सारे पब्लिक डोमेन में है। चिट्ठी लिखी मैंने 2 नवंबर 2022 को, उसका भी जवाब मुझे मिला नहीं। और हम चाहते हैं कि जब जनता के भी जब सिर्फ 6 महीने का 7 महीने का समय बचा है तो हम लोग पब्लिक में जाएं, उससे पहले हम लोग कुछ कार्रवाई करें।
Infighting within the Congress in a state that is going to polls, and then who is going to have a direct benefit? It does appear that this clearly will not work out well for the Congress party. Paulami Saha has more details. Will it then be advantage BJP in a state that is ruled by the Congress, which is split right in the middle? It's the leadership and they're bickering and bickering just so publicly. Follow me.
Well, definitely advantage Bharatiya Janata Party. Already the state is known to switch governments every 5 years. Ashok Gehlot, of course, is seen as a three-time chief minister. He is seen as a very strong Congress leader. But the fact of the matter is, and he has, of course, successfully, averted the revolt which, in fact, was brewing within the Congress party, which almost was going to throw him out of his position. It was suspected in September last year when it seemed like Sachin Pilot had possibly, had gotten into a conversation where he'd be made with the High Command, where he'd be made the Chief Minister of Rajasthan, and Ashok Gehlot could possibly come to Delhi as the Congress president. But it was thwarted by Gehlot loyalists who, in fact, rebelled and made sure that Ashok Gehlot, of course, stayed on as the Chief Minister of Rajasthan. Sachin Pilot, of course, Sneha, at that point of time was hoping that some amount of disciplinary action would be taken by the High Command against these MLAs which thwarted his plans. But that did not happen. No sort of disciplinary action has been taken against those rebels. And Sachin Pilot continues to be, someone who is now basically waging a lone battle. How many MLAs join him? How many legislators join him? It remains to be seen. But at the moment, of course, he seems to have dug his heels in. This is definitely advantage Bharatiya Janata Party. The Congress is very embarrassed, not just because the Rajasthan polls, of course, are just only 8 months away. In the month of December, they would be held, and hence this is a very crucial time, and the party needs to fight unitedly against the Bharatiya Janata Party, but also because there are other crucial elections coming up as well. The first one, of course, is the Karnataka election. At such a time, for them to be engaged in firefighting in another state and to put in all their resources over there, this clearly shows that the Congress is very upset with Sachin Pilot for having staged this dharna, quite literally, against the party, which they believe is against the party. The Congress is saying this is not against Ashok Gehlot, this is against the Congress party. This is anti-party activity as far as they're concerned. In fact, the Rajasthan Congress chief, Sukhjinder Randhawa, was earlier considering the possibility of coming to Rajasthan, of coming to Jaipur. He's in Chandigarh, coming to Jaipur, and then possibly having a conversation with Sachin Pilot and Ashok Gehlot as well, quelling this dharna even before it began. But then, of course, he decided against it. Clearly, it's not his decision. It's come from the High Command. He decided against it. He's asked for Pilot to come and meet him in Delhi instead in order to lay out his grievances. But he's also made it absolutely categorically clear that you cannot be washing dirty linen in public. This is an internal party issue. You can't be protesting against your own government in public like this, embarrassing the Congress government, and like I said, engaging the Congress High Command in firefighting this embarrassment, while it should be putting all its might and wherewithal and resources and its time in, of course, defeating the Bharatiya Janata Party in the state of Karnataka.
All right, Paulami, I'll just come back to you for more on that. Paulami has made it clear that from the letter, it does appear that the Congress High Command, so to speak, isn't very happy in that letter. However, the letter also talks about the fact, Dave, that ever since Randhawa was the AICC in charge of Rajasthan, why is that none of these issues were raised in the party forum when there is an opportunity to do so? Why make this public? So is this really about corruption, or is this about your personal ambition? That's the message from Randhawa, isn't it?
Well, Sneha, clearly Sachin Pilot has mentioned that he has on several occasions raised this matter before the party forum. He maintains that he has not only written letters, not once but twice, to Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot, enumerating the same issues regarding corruption cases during Vasundhara Raje regime. But if you heard his press conference that took place on Sunday, he also mentioned that when he was presenting his plan before the party leadership or the party high command, this was one of the things that he had mentioned before the party high command, that cases that were raised during Vasundhara Raje regime, cases of corruption, those cases should be investigated while the Congress is in government in Rajasthan. So Sukhjinder Singh Randhawa, who is a recently appointed party in charge for Rajasthan and who is hardly aware of the ground level politics of Rajasthan, may proclaim that he became the state in charge 5 months ago and that Pilot never spoke with him. But the fact of the matter is that Pilot had been raising these issues time and again and had raised this issue as per him before the party leadership also. But it is seemingly the case of the Gehlot camp being stronger in Delhi and perhaps having more leverage with 10 Janpath, and that is perhaps the reason why Ashok Gehlot is currently prevailing in this entire matter.
It does appear, Dave.
Sachin Pilot,
Yes.
despite the fact that him... Yes.
It's
Sneha,
clear
right now I
that
can tell you
Gehlot, in fact, does have the backing of 10 Janpath. Like Dave is pointing out, it remains to be seen how this plays out in days and weeks to come, given this very public tu-tu-meh-meh that we see between Sachin Pilot and Ashok Gehlot. We'll continue to keep a very close eye on all of those developments from the state of Rajasthan. For the moment, it's time for a quick commercial break here. Getting you much more news in just a bit.
You are watching India Today.
Why does this happen? Let me tell you the science behind it.
For more informative videos like this, keep watching India Today News Mode.
Presented by Star Health Insurance, the health insurance specialist.
Some breaking news just coming in. This is the inside scoop on the Karnataka BJP candidate list. The High Command we're hearing is not happy with the list that was recommended and prepared by the state BJP. The Prime Minister and the Home Minister want fresh faces, but it's a tightrope walk. In Karnataka, every individual MLA has his own vote bank of 10,000 to 50,000, ranging from seat to seat. The state unit is telling the High Command if you remove sitting MLAs, they'll contest as independents. If you don't give tickets to former MLAs, they'll contest as independents. The moment they all contest as independents, they take the BJP votes away and not the opposition. And hence the party will lose. Well, that's a simple mathematical calculation being done by the state BJP there. Akshita is getting us more details on that story. What then is the BJP top leadership thinking about the fear of losing the state of Karnataka if at all the disgruntled MLAs walk away? Akshita.
So this is a huge conundrum, Sneha, that the BJP leadership currently deals with. If you look at the state versus the central leadership right now, we've been seeing marathon meetings taking place. On Sunday, there was a CEC also that happened, after which there was speculation that on Sunday night, on Monday, we'd get the candidate list. Still no sight of it. Nagarjun Dwarkanath tells us the reason for that is because the central leadership right now isn't in agreement with some of the names that have been proposed by the state leadership. Remember that they have a very clear process that has been put forth where they said that they will go ahead and select MLAs based on what district leadership has to say. Now, the central leadership of the BJP has reportedly said that they want to remove a lot of the current MLAs, and the state leadership isn't for that. There's a huge factor of anti-incumbency, but beyond that, and a couple of examples that Nagarjun has given us is one of Haveri, the other of Mudigere. Take these two examples for instance. In the case of Haveri, the MLA is Olekar. His sons have been convicted in a corruption case, so the central leadership is against them. In the case of Mudigere also, MP Kumaraswamy, the MLA, has been convicted in a check bounce case, has got 4-year jail term as well. Again, the central leadership is saying these kind of convicted MLAs, get rid of them. The BJP state unit, on the other hand, is saying it's not as simple as that. The moment you remove them, there will be a problem of them being disgruntled, not backing off, and they'll go ahead and contest as independents, which will thereby lead to the BJP vote share being cut, being swallowed in these districts.
Akshita, be with us is coming back to you. Sagai Raj also has more details on that. Sagai, these would be real concerns, given that MLAs might just walk away from the party. Already an incumbent government in the state of Karnataka, with the Congress also regaining a foothold. This is a huge and valid concern, isn't it?
Absolutely, and B.S. Yadurappa, talking to media yesterday in Bengaluru, has also clarified that close to 10 to 12 MLAs, sitting MLAs, might not get the ticket, and the ultimate decision will be taken by High Command. And it is quite unusual for even B.S. Yadurappa to come in between the meeting where the meeting is still happening in Delhi to come up with the final numbers of the probable candidates for this particular election. And so we need to wait and watch what are the criteria, how many of them will be getting, and how many of them are going to miss the ticket. And if you try to understand the procedure within the BJP, few days back there was an internal voting which was being done by BJP, where around 18 to 20 leaders from every single districts have been called, and they had given candidates of 3 where they have to elect internally. So there was an internal election which was being done in wherever the BJP feel that BJP is not quite strong, or there are candidates who have not performed well, or there are anti-incumbency on all those places. So there was an internal election which was also being done, and even that particular report is already given to High Command to take a decision on this. So there are several calculations which has been done by BJP. Remember, even the Prime Minister was also part of this particular meeting. So you need to understand the seriousness of this particular meeting by the BJP. So they don't want to leave any stone unturned when it comes to the finalization of candidates, and that is the reason they are taking more time to release the list from Delhi.
From Delhi, but what is Delhi then planning, Akshita? Are they of the opinion that the situation can be handled? Are they looking at a situation where social engineering and cadre consolidation would be a winning formula for the BJP in the state of Karnataka?
that even by going ahead and making these sweeping changes in the candidate list, they can still pull off a win and ensure that, if there's any sort of breakout breakdown of BJP votes because of some of the existing MLAs contesting as independents, they can still sail through. But there's a big question mark right now, Sneha, on this delay, because even on the ground, it doesn't all go well. It's clear then that there are differences within the BJP. Remember that the last date for filing nominations is April 20th, just about 9 days to go. So the time is ticking, essentially the clock is ticking, and the BJP will have to come out with their list at the earliest. Also keep in mind that unlike the Congress, where the regional leadership is so strong, in the BJP the central leadership always has a word on exactly what's going to be happening in state units. So it'll be interesting to see who really wins this tussle. But an interesting point that Sagar Raju also made was the manner in which B.S. Yadurappa seems to have essentially put up his hands and said that I'm not going to be a part of these meetings as of now. So is there more to be read into that as well? Is this the state leadership saying, look, it's the central leadership that's going to take the final call, we'll just go ahead and heed with the decisions, we'll have to wait and see. But as I said, right now the clock is ticking. The more the delay, the more they're giving an upper hand to the Congress, who've already been questioning why the BJP hasn't released even a single list yet.
Akshita, I'm going to thank you for the moment for getting us those details. Also, Sagai Raj for getting us up to speed with those developments as far as the elections in Karnataka and the list of the BJP. Like Akshita said, not even released, not one name has been released just yet. And this undoubtedly will give enough ammunition to the Congress to go hammer and tongs against the BJP. We have more news coming in. Let's go straight to that now. Congress's Jagdish Tytler is at the CBI CFSL to give his voice sample in the 1984 riots case. He was called in by the CBI to present himself today. Tytler says the case pertains to the riots at the Gurdwara Pulbangash in North Delhi, where 3 people were killed on the first day of November 1984, a day after the assassination of the former then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi. Badal Singh, Thakur Singh and Gurcharan Singh were killed in these riots. Munish Pandey is getting us the very latest on that story. Munish, what more can you tell us about the current investigations in this entire matter?
Well, Sneha, as we speak, Congress's Jagdish Tytler is inside the CBI headquarters, where in the forensic laboratory, his voice sample has been taken. Now, the case pertains to killing of 3 people at the Gurudwara in the North Delhi during the 1984 riots, a day after then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi was assassinated. As far as the CBI's investigation in this case is concerned, CBI had earlier filed the closure report in the case, saying that Jagdish Tytler had no role in these riots, but the court refused to accept. Then CBI was asked by the court to conduct re-investigation in the case. CBI asked Jagdish Tytler to go through a polygraph test, to which he refused. But the court said that the CBI's plea is maintainable, after which the CBI restarted their entire investigation. And today, as we speak, Jagdish Tytler is inside the CBI headquarters in the forensic lab, where he is giving his voice sample. What CBI sources are telling us that they have certain voice samples already in their bank, and they will be matching those audio clips with the audio of Jagdish Tytler. This will be done by the scientific experts of the CBI headquarters, and after matching, they will file a report before the court whether Jagdish Tytler was involved in this entire riots case or not. But as far as Jagdish Tytler is concerned, he has been time in maintaining that he is innocent, he has done nothing wrong. But, politically it will have a far-reaching political implications, because what we have seen earlier that the Bharatiya Janata Party or other political parties have, time and again shot their gun at the Congress party, and especially against Jagdish Tytler, saying that he is someone who was part of the riots. Sneha.
That's right. Munish, I'm going to thank you for the moment for getting us those details. Well, Congress leader Jagdish Tytler, in fact, continues to be in the dock on this entire matter as far as the case against him in connection with the 1984 anti-Sikh riots in Delhi is concerned.
You are watching India Today.
As State of War Karnataka begins, a reminder why India today is the true number one. The 5 big faces speak to us before all others. From Chief Minister Bommai,
our intent is to weed out corruption,
to Chief Challenger Siddaramaiah,
yes, 100% I'm an aspirant.
From old warhorse Yediyurappa,
And I have got 100% confidence that we are going to come back to power in Karnataka.
To muscle man DK Shivakumar.
My number Karnataka on 13th, 141 will be the number.
And Kingmaker Kumaraswamy.
Offer is there. Okay. Everybody offering me.
When it's Karnataka, there's no competition. India's #1 election channel.
Let's take a look at the weather report across the major cities this morning. Thiruvananthapuram is at 31 degrees Celsius with an AQI of 61. Mumbai is at 31 degrees Celsius with an AQI of 63. Panaji is at 29 degrees Celsius with an AQI of 67. Ahmedabad is at 29 degrees Celsius with an AQI of 142. Bhopal is at 29 degrees Celsius with an AQI of 75. Jaipur is at 28 degrees Celsius with an AQI of 115. Delhi is at 26 degrees Celsius with an AQI of 113. Srinagar is at 13 degrees Celsius with AQI being 68. Lucknow is at 27 degrees Celsius with an AQI of 108. Patna is at 31 degrees Celsius with an AQI of 197. Kolkata is at 33 degrees with an AQI of 146. Hyderabad is at 29 degrees Celsius with an AQI of 136. Bangalore is at 24 degrees Celsius with an AQI of 57. Chennai is at 29 degrees Celsius with an AQI of 74. This is all we have for you in this segment. Hope wherever you are, you find favorable weather around you. Keep watching India Today for all the weather updates with me, AI Sana, all through the day.
So sorry.
सारा शहर मुझे लायन के नाम से जानता है। Let's have some music, boys. माइकल, आज से तुम करो H3N2 रिसाइकल।
Yes, boss.
लिली, अब नहीं सिली, तुम H1N1 मेरी बिल्ली।
Thank you, boss.
रॉबर्ट, ये 3 छोटे-छोटे वायरस कौन हैं?
बस, ये मेरे 3 बच्चे हैं। आपको इनके भी नाम रखने हैं।
एक का नाम रख दो पीटर, दूसरे का रिपीटर और तीसरे का जियांग मिंग रख दो।
पीटर रिपीटर समझ आया बॉस। जियांग मिंग क्यों?
क्योंकि इस दुनिया में पैदा हर तीसरा वायरस चाइनीज होता है। माइकल, गाड़ी लेकर आओ।
अरे बाप रे!
स्पीड बढ़ाओ।
बस, ये स्मार्ट बॉय तो फिर से पीछे पड़ गया। क्या करे?
राइट का इंडिकेटर देकर गाड़ी लेफ्ट मोड़ लो। स्मार्ट बॉय कंफ्यूज हो जाए। स्मार्ट बॉय, देखो हम फिर तुम्हारे शहर आ गए इन्फेक्शन फैलाने।
यह इन्फेक्शन किसी बोतल में रखा रायता नहीं है कि ठर से खोला और फर से फैला दिया। अभी तक मेरी जुबान बोल रही थी, अब मेरी वैक्सीन बोलेगी। समझे चपड़गंजो?
Hi there, very good afternoon. You're watching India Today TV. This is Lunch Break. I'm Sneha Mordani. Let's get started with the headlines in this edition first. Pilot versus Gehlot war reignites in Rajasthan. Pilot on dharna against his own government. Rajasthan Congress in charge says Pilot targeting Congress, not Gehlot. ED heat on Tejashwi Yadav over land for jobs scam. ED grills Tejashwi over 600 crore proceeds of crime. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman's firm rebuttal to negative Western perception of India and Washington says don't listen to perceptions built by people who have not even visited the ground.
I would only say come have a look at what's happening in India rather than listen to perceptions being built by people who have not even visited the ground and who produce reports.
Big win for the RSS in Supreme Court. Plea by Stalin government to stop RSS route march on Tamil Nadu has been junked. No decision on BJP ticket even after CEC meeting. BJP to redo the candidate list. Home Minister Amit Shah to chair another round of the BJP meet today. Amul versus Nandini war boils over. BJP targets Siddaramaiah on milk poor, says Shraddha brought Amul in Karnataka, claims Siddaramaiah supports cow slaughter. We have some breaking news is coming in. The ED is now grilling Tejashwi in the land for jobs scam. Tejashwi's line of questioning has been accessed by India Today. Give us details on your properties. Explain properties worth 600 crore rupees. Who owns Benami bungalow in Delhi is the question that ED is asking. How did you buy 150 lakh rupee property at 4 lakh rupees? What is your link to firms behind laundering? What do you know about land for jobs scam? These are questions that the ED is asking of Tejashwi Yadav as he's being questioned on the land for jobs scam matter. These are investigations in the land for jobs scam that continues now with the ED questioning Tejashwi Yadav. Here are the questions. Give us details on your properties. Explain properties worth 600 crore rupees is the question that the ED is asking of Tejashwi Yadav. Who owns Benami bungalow in Delhi? How did you buy a property worth 150 lakh rupees for 4 lakh rupees? What is your link to firms behind laundering? The CBI, remember, has already filed a charge sheet in an alleged land for job case against former Railway Minister Lalu Yadav and his family members. In connection with the same matter, the ED is questioning Tejashwi Yadav. Remember, the scam allegedly took place in the railway recruitment process when Lalu Prasad, the father of Tejashwi Yadav, was the Union Railway Minister when UPA-1 was in power from 2004 to 2009. Right now, we're getting you the details of the line of questioning of the ED, with Deputy Chief Minister Tejashwi Yadav being questioned at the ED office in Delhi. Shraddha Chatterjee is there with us, telling us more about the line of questioning there. What more can you tell us about the questioning and also how things are going to move forward from here on as far as the investigations in this matter is concerned?
Well, Sneha, right now Tejashwi Yadav is inside Enforcement Directorate. Almost been an hour since the questioning is on. He's obviously being questioned regarding his role in the Land for Jobs scam, which happened during the period of 2004 and 2009. Now, the line of questioning will revolve around the alleged properties of Tejashwi Yadav, also his links with two companies, which is AK Infosystem and AB Exports Private Limited. Apart from that, Sneha, there's a Benami property, a Benami bungalow, which is owned by Tejashwi Yadav apparently in the national capital. It's also alleged that the property, which is to the tune of 150 crores, was actually owned in a minimal 4 lakh amount. So these are the details that's already with the Enforcement Directorate. Remember, the CBI has already filed a charge sheet in the case. They've already questioned Tejashwi, but right now the ED is investigating the money angle. They filed a PMLA into the case, and Tejashwi is being asked about the alleged property links that he has, and he will have to face these questions, his role and his part in two companies which figured in the entire scam, which is AK Infosystems and AB Exports Private Limited.
Shraddha Chatterjee getting us all those details as far as the investigations in this matter is concerned. Tejashwi Yadav, the Deputy Chief Minister of Bihar and son of Lalu Yadav, being questioned by the ED today. We're going straight now to Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal, who's addressing the press. Let's take a listen.
आज इस खुशी के मौके पे वो भी अगर होते तो हमारी खुशी में और 4 चांद लग जाते। वो संघर्ष कर रहे हैं देश के लिए, हम सब के लिए। इस वक्त देश की सारी राष्ट्र विरोधी ताकतें जो इस देश का भला नहीं चाहती, जो इस देश की तरक्की नहीं चाहती, वो सारी ताकतें मिलके आम आदमी पार्टी का विरोध कर रही हैं। मनीष सिसोदिया क्या क्या कसूर है? कल मैं एक उद्घाटन करने गया था ईस्ट विनोद नगर में एक स्कूल में। सरकारी स्कूल है, सरकारी स्कूल है और उसमें फ्रेंच पढ़ाई जाती है, जर्मन पढ़ाई जाती है, स्पेनिश पढ़ाई जाती है, जापानीज पढ़ाई जाती है। मेरी पढ़ाई हिसार के सबसे बड़े प्राइवेट स्कूल में हुई थी। हमारे स्कूल में भी ये सारी चीजें नहीं पढ़ाई जाती थी। बड़े बड़े प्राइवेट स्कूलों में नहीं पढ़ाई जाती। आज दिल्ली के सरकारी स्कूलों के अंदर वो शिक्षा दी जाती है। तो मनीष सिसोदिया का कसूर था कि उसने गरीबों के बच्चों को सपने देखने सिखाए कि सपने देखो, बड़े बड़े सपने देखो, उनको पूरा करने का जज्बा रखो। यह कसूर था मनीष सिसोदिया का। 75 साल से गरीब का बेटा गरीब रह जाता था क्योंकि अच्छी शिक्षा नहीं मिलती थी। उनको उसने सपने दिए, उनके सपनों को उसने पर दिए, और ये सारी राष्ट्र विरोधी ताकतों ने मिलकर मनीष सिसोदिया को जेल के अंदर डाल दिया। जैन साहब का क्या कसूर था? उनका कसूर था कि अगर इस देश के अंदर कोई भी पैदा हो, उसको अच्छा इलाज मिलना चाहिए, चाहे गरीब हो चाहे अमीर हो। गरीब आदमी हो तो इसका मतलब यह नहीं कि वो रुलेगा, वो कॉरिडोर में पड़ा रहेगा, उसको दवाई नहीं मिलेगी, उसको इलाज नहीं होगा। अच्छा इलाज कराएंगे, सबका अच्छा इलाज कराएंगे, सरकार कराएगी इलाज अच्छा। यह कसूर था सत्येंद्र जैन का। उसने एक सपना देखा था देश के लिए। सारी राष्ट्र विरोधी ताकतों ने मिलकर उसको बेचारे को जेल के अंदर डाल दिया। लेकिन बेचारा नहीं है, वो भगत सिंह का चेला है। तो ये सारी राष्ट्र विरोधी ताकतें आम आदमी पार्टी को रोकना चाहती है, लेकिन ऊपर वाला हमारे साथ है। किसी की हिम्मत नहीं है। मैं हमेशा कहता हूं, नो वन कैन स्टॉप द आइडिया हुज टाइम हैज कम। इस पूरी यात्रा में बहुत सारे ऐसे लोग हैं जिन्होंने बहुत कुर्बानियां दी, बहुत संघर्ष किए। हमारे बहुत साथी हैं जिन्होंने खूब डंडे खाए। आपने भी खाए? अच्छा, 1 महीने बेड पे थे, फ्रैक्चर हो गया था। बहुत डंडे खाए, जेल गए, बहुत लोग जेल गए। हमारी संतोष कोली शहीद हो गई। हमारे साथ मीरा सान्याल जी होती थी। बिपिन करके एक लड़का था पंजाब में, चुनाव में प्रचार के दौरान उसका हार्ट अटैक हो गया। और भी ऐसे कई लोग हैं जिनको हमने इस यात्रा के दौरान खोया है। आज इस मौके पे हम उन सबको याद करते हैं और भगवान से प्रार्थना करते हैं कि उन सबको शांति दे, उनकी आत्मा को शांति दे, अपने श्री चरणों में उनको स्थान दे। बहुत सारे ऐसे लोग हैं जिन्होंने बहुत संघर्ष किया। अपने परिवार, नौकरी करते थे, अच्छी अच्छी नौकरियां छोड़ के आ गए, क्योंकि उन्होंने सबने सपना देखा था कि एक दिन ऐसा आएगा जब देश के अंदर अच्छी शिक्षा मिलेगी। वो सब बड़े खुश हैं कि दिल्ली के अंदर, अब पंजाब के अंदर जिस तरह से मॉडल गवर्नेंस का बनाया जा रहा है, उनके सपने पूरे हो रहे हैं। बहुत लोगों ने संघर्ष किया है और आज टाइम है अपनी आइडियोलॉजी को याद करने का, अपनी विचारधारा को याद करने का। आम आदमी पार्टी की विचारधारा के 3 स्तंभ हैं। याद है ना सबको? याद नहीं है? 3 स्तंभ हैं। कट्टर ईमानदारी, मर जाएंगे, देश के साथ गद्दारी नहीं करेंगे, बेईमानी नहीं करेंगे, एक टाइम की रोटी कम खा लेंगे लेकिन बेईमानी नहीं करेंगे। बेईमानी का पैसा घर में नहीं आएगा। कट्टर ईमानदारी। दूसरा स्तंभ है कट्टर देशभक्ति। देश के लिए जरूरत पड़ेगी तो जान हाजिर है, फांसी पे चढ़ जाएंगे। और तीसरा स्तंभ है इंसानियत। इंसान को इंसान समझना है। इन लोगों की तरह गुंडागर्दी नहीं करनी। गुंडागर्दी हमारी विचारधारा नहीं है, उनकी हो सकती है। इंसानियत, इंसान के लिए कुछ भी करने की जरूरत पड़े, इंसान से मोहब्बत करनी है। हम गाते हैं ना, इंसान का इंसान से हो भाईचारा, यही पैगाम हमारा। तो इंसानियत तीसरी हमारी आइडियोलॉजी है। पहली बार देश के अंदर पहले कहते थे चुनाव लड़ने के लिए इतना पैसा चाहिए, बेईमानी तो करनी पड़ती है। हमने दिखा दिया कि ईमानदारी से चुनाव लड़े भी जा सकते हैं और जीते भी जा सकते हैं।
All right, Arvind Kejriwal, then the national convener of the Aam Aadmi Party, talking about the struggles his party has had to face. Remember, it's a setback with the Election Commission withdrawing the national party status of the TMC and the NCP. And the gainers here are the Aam Aadmi Party. Granting national party status to AAP is the biggest ever boost to Arvind Kejriwal's Aam Aadmi Party. While TMC is mulling ways to challenge the decision of the Election Commission, AAP is obviously on cloud 9. More on this report.
A boost for one chief minister and a setback for the other. Arvind Kejriwal's Aam Aadmi Party granted the status of a national party. The Delhi CM welcomed the move with a jubilant tweet. In power with large majorities in Delhi and Punjab, a 6.77% of vote in Goa and 5 seats in Gujarat worked wonders for Aam Aadmi Party to get the national tag. The reverse happened for Mamata Banerjee's Trinamool Congress and Sharad Pawar's NCP and the CPI. Because of its underperformance in states outside West Bengal, the TMC lost the national status it won in 2016. The West Bengal BJP insisted the TMC deserved de-recognition as a national party.
तृणमूल कांग्रेस का जो गो तस्करी है, कोयला तस्करी है, उसका पैसा लेकर तरह तरह के जगह में घूमे, छोटे छोटे राज्य में गए, गोवा में गए आसाम में गए, मेघालय में गए, ज्यादातर ज्यादा जगह पे उनको मुक्की खानी पड़ी। वहां के जनता ने उनको अपनी औकात समझा दिया और अभी जो डेटा उपलब्ध है उससे उन लोगों का नेशनल पार्टी का जो तकमा है वो चला गया।
Trinamool, however, downplayed the loss, saying it won't impact its positioning in the 2024 general elections.
Our party is not officially reacting to it. We'll later give our reactions. I do not want to comment this early. TMC has overcome many obstacles. It will overcome this obstacle also.
The Election Commission follows set technical criteria for granting national status to any political party. This includes the applicant party's recognition in 4 or more states, or a set number of seats in the last Lok Sabha elections, and a set vote share in its favour from any 4 or more states in assembly or general elections. With the Election Commission removing Trinamool, the NCP and the CPI and adding Aam Aadmi Party to the list, 5 national parties now enjoy the national status, Congress and the BJP included. Bureau Report, India Today.
But that is time for a quick commercial break here. On the other side, no decision on BJP ticket distribution. Even after the CEC meeting, BJP is to redo the candidate list. Home Minister Amit Shah to chair another round of BJP meeting today itself. Why does this happen? Let me tell you the science behind it.
For more informative videos like this, keep watching India Today News Mo.
As State of War Karnataka begins, a reminder why India today is the true number one. The 5 big faces speak to us before all others. From Chief Minister Bommai
Our intent is to weed out corruption.
to Chief Challenger Siddaramaiah,
Yes, 100% I'm an aspirant.
from old warhorse Yediyurappa
And I have got 100% confidence that we are going to come back to power in Karnataka.
to muscle man DK Shivakumar,
My number Karnataka on 13, 141 will be the number.
and Kingmaker Kumaraswamy.
Offer is there. Okay. Everybody offering me.
When it's Karnataka, there's no competition. India's #1 election channel.
Co-presented by Star Health Insurance, the health insurance specialist.
Well, with less than a month left for the assembly elections, the BJP and the Congress are busy finalizing the list of candidates. BJP is yet to release its first list of candidates. Even after the Prime Minister chaired a CEC meeting on Sunday, BJP has gone back to the drawing room to redo the list. Home Minister Amit Shah is going to be looking at the list once again today. Chief Minister Bommai claims the High Command was collecting ground information on various constituencies and new candidates, and the list might be released today itself. Union Minister Prahlad Joshi says the BJP is being cautious with its list and there's no confusion really within the party. The Congress, meanwhile, has taken a jibe at the BJP for being so indecisive over BJP tickets, saying there is chaos and confusion within the party. The Congress, on the other hand, is expected to finalize its third list of candidates in the next couple of days. It has declared candidates for 166 tickets so far.
But ಪಟ್ಟಿ ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಅಂತಿಮ ಹಂತದಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಿದೆ. ಕೇಂದ್ರದ ಗೃಹ ಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳು ಅವ್ರ ಜೊತೆ ಕನ್ಸಲ್ಟೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ನಮ್ಮ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರೀಯ ಮತ್ತು ಪ್ರಧಾನಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳ ಜೊತೆ ಕನ್ಸಲ್ಟೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅವರ ಅನುಮತಿಯನ್ನು ಪಡೆದು ಆದಷ್ಟು ಬೇಗ ನಾವು ಮೊದಲನೇ ಪಟ್ಟಿಯನ್ನು ಬಿಡುಗಡೆ ಮಾಡಲಿ. ಗೊಂದಲ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಅನೇಕ ಸಂಗತಿಗಳನ್ನು ನಾವು ಬಹಳ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಮಟ್ಟದ ಒಂದು ಪಟ್ಟಿಯನ್ನು ಬಿಡುಗಡೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ಪುಟ್ಸ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಕೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ವಿ ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಬಿ ವೆರಿ ವೆರಿ ಕಾಶಿಯಸ್.
ನಿನ್ನೆ ದಿನ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಚರ್ಚೆಗಳಾಗಿತ್ತು. ಮತ್ತೊಮ್ಮೆ ಅವರೇನೋ ಒಂದ್ 2-3 ಕ್ಲಾರಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ಕೇಳಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಕರೆದಿದ್ರು ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರೀಯ ಅಧ್ಯಕ್ಷರು. ಅವ್ರಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ಇವತ್ತು ಸಾಯಂಕಾಲದೊಳಗಡೆ ಅಥವಾ ನಾಳೆ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ದ. ವಿಳಂಬ ಇಲ್ರಿ, ನಿನ್ನೆ ಇವತ್ತೆಲ್ಲ ಚರ್ಚೆ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಇವತ್ತು ಫೈನಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ.
Why is it that Mr. J.P. Nadda and Mr. Amit Shah having held marathon meetings, BJP has not been able to declare a single candidate till date? Does that not show and prove to our brothers and sisters of Karnataka the manner and fashion in which there is chaos and confusion in the Bharatiya Janata Party? It also proves that Bharatiya Janata Party is a sinking ship.
ಉಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದ ಸೀಟ್ನ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನಿಂಗ್ ಕಮಿಟಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ನಮ್ಮ ಇಬ್ಬರು ಒಪಿನಿಯನ್ ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅಲ್ಟಿಮೇಟ್ಲಿ ಎಐಸಿಸಿ ಅಧ್ಯಕ್ಷರು ಮತ್ತು ಬೇರೆ ಸಮಿತಿಯವರು ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ತೀರ್ಮಾನ ಮಾಡಿ ತಿಳಿಸ್ತಾರೆ. ನಾವು ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ತಿಳಿಸದೆ ನಾವೇನು ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ.
ಬಿಜೆಪಿ all 224 candidates are chief ministerial candidates. So everybody has their own list. We all know that BJP is a broken house. Here in Karnataka, they have looted enough and more, and people who have looted enough and more are absolutely watching the game to be get unfolded. But however, this is an internal matter of BJP. But we know through our sources that there is a huge infighting and there is huge lobbying, and BJP is absolutely not able to decide. RSS has a list, Mukunda has a list, Mr. B.L. Santosh has a list, Yadurappa has a list, Bommai has a list, everybody has a list. So we don't know what list is going to come. But however, BJP is a broken house. BJP is really definitely not even going to cross 60 seats.
Well, the BJP has not released its list. They are expected to do so today itself. The Congress says what's going on. There is chaos within the Bharatiya Janata Party. The Congress, on the other hand, is all set to release its third list after releasing the first and the second already. Nagarjun Dwarkanath is getting us more details. Naga, clearly a difference in opinion when it comes to the state leadership and the central leadership. But what really is the middle ground herein?
Well, Karnataka is also a peculiar state, right? So because of a lot of caste combination, social engineering, the might and clout of the sitting MLAs also has to be taken into consideration. What we are picking up from our sources is that the moment High Command saw the list or the recommendation from the state unit, they were not happy with it. They were saying they want fresh air and remove at least few 15 to 20 sitting MLAs or lost MLAs who are seeking tickets. But the state unit is trying to negotiate with the High Command, saying that it would be very difficult because these people who miss out on tickets will try to contest independently and they are likely to take BJP votes. So they would be shrinking our vote share, and when it's a three-way fight, the third person will benefit out of it, most likely Congress or JDS depending on the area, and they'll win the seats. And hence sitting MLAs, removing them like the Gujarat model will be quite difficult in Karnataka. 50% of Karnataka election is all about caste and then comes individual. So caste and subcaste truly matter while fighting elections on ground, and that social engineering needs to be done right. But the High Command is also of an opinion that if you don't bring in fresh faces, there would be a lot of burden or baggage on the sitting MLAs. The party doesn't have the anti-incumbency, but these sitting netas or the sitting MLAs bring in anti-incumbency, and hence the party might take a dent in terms of reaching the halfway mark. If you bring in fresh faces, fresh air, there's no baggage for the opposition to blame them, and hence it's quite easy for a win. Look at what happened in Gujarat is what the High Command is saying. The negotiation that happened for the first time since the CEC, the list is not announced. Remember 2 days back, the Prime Minister went straight from Karnataka after Bandipur, went and met the CEC, he headed the panel. Even after that, the list is not announced, 48 hours. And today, once again, there's a meeting this evening with the Union Home Minister, and most likely by night or in the morning, we'll have at least 200 to 180 seats clarity on the first list.
Nagarjun Dwarkanath getting us all of those details as far as the list is concerned. I'm going to thank you for the moment, but we're staying with news from Karnataka. With the assembly polls here closing in, confusion in the JDS over candidates for the Hassan constituency continues. War is broken out between brothers former Chief Minister H.D. Kumaraswamy and JDS MLA H.D. Revanna over the Hassan seat. Revanna wants his wife Bhavani to get the Hassan ticket. Revanna has threatened that he won't contest from Holin Narshipura if his wife doesn't get the ticket. Revanna has also threatened if his wife is not given the shared ticket, she'll contest as an independent against the JDS in Hassan. Meanwhile, Kumaraswamy wants Karyakartas to be given the Hassan ticket. He says his father and former Prime Minister Deve Gowda didn't have the same sway as before to convince Revanna to drop his demand. Deve Gowda had met his son Revanna to, in fact, invited him to his house last night, but there was no consensus on the Hassan ticket.
ನಾನು ಬಹಳ ಸ್ಪಷ್ಟವಾಗಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೇನೆ, ಹಾಸನದಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾರ್ಯಕರ್ತರಿಗೆ ಟಿಕೆಟ್ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ನನ್ನ ರಾಜಿ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅವರು ಟ್ರೈ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು, ದೇವೇಗೌಡರು ಇವತ್ತು ರೇವಣ್ಣ ಅವರನ್ನು ಕನ್ವಿನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಶಕ್ತಿ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸಹ ರೇವಣ್ಣ ಅವರನ್ನು ಕನ್ವಿನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಶಕ್ತಿ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅದೇ ನಮ್ಮ ದುರಾದೃಷ್ಟ. ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ?
So there is no question going either nearer to Congress or nearer to BJP. My journey will start from 10th onwards. All the old Mysore area, Hassan, Mandya, Chikmagalur, these are the old Mysore areas. I am going to Chitradurga, tour this area. This is our strong belt.
It is an internal matter of JDS, and I'm sure we would definitely solve it amicably. Politics is a game of aspiration, and everybody has an aspiration. And Bhavani Revanna having an aspiration from Hassan seat is absolutely no wrong. And Kumaraswamy has his own understanding what needs to be done. But this is an internal matter of party, and I'm very sure that when we sit across and this would be resolved amicably, and a suitable candidate would be given ticket, and we are very sure to win that ticket.
H.D. Kumaraswamy has spoken to my colleague Nagarjun Dwarkanath over this row over the Hassan constituency. Listen in.
There were a lot of reports about Hassan fight. They were saying that brothers are fighting for the Hassan ticket seat. How do you see when the BJP picks this and the Congress picks this as the issue, saying, look, the family is fighting?
Hassan issue, nothing will happen, brother. Smoothly it will going to be settled. 100% we are going to announce an ordinary worker to win that election. There will be no quarrel between family members.
You specifically said ordinary worker, you said.
Nothing will happen. Ordinary worker will going to announce, he will going to win.
See, we are living in a democratic world, and when people want to serve, when the candidates want to serve people, see, politics is a stage for you. Bhavani ji wants to contest, and even Swaroop is, been active in politics since a long time. So this ultimately depends on the party national president and our party state president. So I think they are better people to take call on this, because we have a committee, and I think the committee will take a call.
Meanwhile, the confusion over Congress's chief minister face in Karnataka continues. Amid the ongoing tussle between Siddaramaiah and D.K. Shivakumar, the Karnataka Congress chief's attempts to bring Congress chief Mallikarjun Kharge's name into the race has raised eyebrows within party circles. D.K. Shivakumar's move to endorse Kharge is being seen by some as an attempt by him to checkmate Siddaramaiah's prospects. Shivkumar's statements that he would love to work under Kharge if he becomes the chief minister has got tongues wagging among many in the state Congress. Moreover, Karnataka Congress chief's endorsement for Kharge has also reignited this debate on Dalit chief minister and old versus new within the party. However, he's maintained that the party's decision is final.
I said in the interview that I am also an aspirant for the chief minister post. Likewise, Mr. D.K. Shivakumar is also an aspirant for the chief minister post. The aim of both of us is to defeat BJP and to bring back Congress party into power. And the ground reality in Karnataka is there is a wave in favor of Congress party. BJP is going to be defeated. My statement in the interview is misinterpreted.
Only one alliance JDS is open for is an alliance with Kannadigas and people of Karnataka. And right now it is very premature to tell anything. It is an internal matter of Congress whether they are going to have Siddaramaiah, Yediyurappa or Siddaramaiah, Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge or D.K. Shivakumar as Chief Minister or any other Chief Minister candidate. We know one thing, only party which has come out with their list and only party which has decided their Chief Minister candidate with GDS, Kumaraswamy is going to be our Chief Minister. And the only people whom we are going to rely for our betterment is Kannadigas.
I want my party to take a call on it. I want my legislature to take a call on it. We have aspiration, we all are human beings. Why not? I am senior to everyone. You said 85. I am 35 years continuously elected to the assembly with all authority. I am my seniority.
More news from Karnataka, where showdown escalates over two dairy titans, Amul and Nandini, in the state. Congress is opposing Amul's entry, claiming it would pose a threat to the Karnataka Milk Federation brand, Nandini. BJP slammed former Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah, saying it was during his tenure that Amul expanded its footprint in the state. BJP MP Pratap Simha has alleged that Siddaramaiah doesn't support Karnataka farmers but backed cow slaughters and beef eaters. Sharpening the attack, Simha said Congress is fanning the Nandini controversy for electoral gains. State Congress Chief DKS has hit back, saying that it's an insult to Kannada pride and will impact farmers in this way.
ಈಗ ಚುನಾವಣೆಗೋಸ್ಕರವಾಗಿ ಇದು ಇಶ್ಯೂ ರೈಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತನಾ ಇಲ್ಲಾಂದ್ರೆ ಗೋ ಹತ್ಯೆ ಮಾಡುವಂತಹ ಒಬ್ಬ ದನಗಳನಿಗೆ ಯಾಕ್ರಿ ಪರಿಹಾರ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ರು ಅವರು ಇವತ್ತು ಕೂಡ ನಾವು ಅಧಿಕಾರಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದಾದ ಕೂಡಲೇ ಗೋ ಹತ್ಯೆ ನಿಷೇಧ ಕಾನೂನನ್ನು ತೆಗೆದಾಕ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಯಾಕೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಇವರು KMF ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಇವ್ರಿಗೆ ಕಾಳಜಿ ಇತ್ತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಹಾಲು ಉತ್ಪಾದಕರಿಗೆ ತಾಯಂದಿರಿಗೆ ಪ್ರೋತ್ಸಾಹನ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದು ಯಾರು ನಮ್ಮ ಯಡಿಯೂರಪ್ಪ ಸಾಹೇಬ್ರ ಅಥವಾ ಸಿದ್ದರಾಮಯ್ಯನವರು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದ ನಮ್ಮ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರುವಂಥದ್ದು ಗೋ ಹತ್ಯೆ ನಿಷೇಧ ಕಾಯ್ದೆಯನ್ನು ತೆಗೆದಾಕ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಯಾಕೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಇವ್ರಿಗೆ ಗೋ ಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ ಹಾಲು ಕೊಡೋ ಗೋ ಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅದನ್ನು ತಿನ್ನೋರ ಓಟ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ಇವ್ರಿಗೆ ಬೇಕಾಗಿರುವಂಥದ್ದು ಇವ್ರು ಗೋವನ್ನು ಹತ್ಯೆ ಮಾಡಿ ತಿನ್ನುವವರ ಪರವಾಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಇದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಸಾಕ್ಷಿ ಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ ಜನಕ್ಕೆ ಇವ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಅರಿವಿದೆ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ 2018ರಲ್ಲೇ ಇವರಿಗೆ ಸರಿಯಾದ ಪಾಠವನ್ನು ಕಲಿಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ.
We all want to protect the Nandini brand which has been built up with such care, but I think by media has to be found. And certainly one of the good things we should have is Nandini should also be exported to more states. If we start getting too protectionist, we may not be helping. We may not be helping our national economy. But at the same time, I understand the concerns of those who are working in Karnataka, who are, after all, contributing to the success and quality of the Nandini brand. And we have to take their needs into account as well.
Anaga is getting asked all of those details as far as that latest controversy in the state of Karnataka is concerned. This is, in fact, only snowballing any further. But what really are the facts here? There's some amount of misinformation and, of course, a great amount of politicking, isn't it, Anaga?
That's absolutely right, Sneha. The sense on the ground is that any multi-cooperative society is ultimately going to be under the control of union government, and KMF happens to be state-owned. So in case if there is any sort of, merger, or if Amul does any sort of business with Nandini, the fear on the ground is that it will ultimately be under the control of the central leadership, and Karnataka will slowly lose its hold over KMF, is the kind of fear that is mongering among Kannadigas, including the farmers. Of course, a very a sort of full-blown political war has also erupted over this issue. But the misinformation here is that Amul and Nandini will be merging. That is what's false. They will not be merging because the government has made it amply clear that that there's not going to be any sort of merging. And even if Amul comes down to Karnataka, Nandini will be strong enough to give Amul a tough fight, is the narrative panned out by the current government. But of course, a full-blown political war has erupted here, a kind of kind of fear mongering of sorts initiated by the Congress party, trying to stoke in the emotive issue, because Nandini happens to be an emotional issue for Kannadigas, because KMF is a homegrown brand. So it just looks like the opposition is using this emotive issue as an ammunition for their political points.
Anagha, I'm going to thank you for the moment, for getting us those details. The war continues as far as this debate over Nandini versus Amul in the state of Karnataka, which of course is poll bound. With that, it's time for a quick commercial break here, getting you much more news in just a minute.
May 2022. A normal day that changed to an abnormal day. She was cut into 35 pieces.
उसने multiple weapons का use किया.
Up against a psychotic butcher and a web of savagery. Now her father fights to put pieces of justice together. This is the story of Shraddha and her father.
जब तक इसको फांसी नहीं होगी तब तक मैं इसका अंतिम संस्कार भी नहीं करूंगा.
My daughter Shraddha, coming soon.
We have some news just coming in. Khalistanis are using Twitter bot army to promote violence against Hindus in India. A yet-to-be-published research by Network Contagion Research Institute has revealed that Khalistani extremists are using an army of bots or fake Twitter accounts to promote acts of vandalism and violence in Australia against Indians and the Indian government establishment. NCRI is known to produce independent, data-driven and evidence-based series of reports regarding the spread of hostile ideological content worldwide. Says Khalistani is also using evasive tactics to avoid Australian authorities. Since January 2023, NCRI found 359 active accounts that worked in networks of 20 to 50 accounts. These Twitter accounts are used to promote violent messages and videos, often featuring the founder of Sikhs for Justice, an organization that is banned in India. Gaurav Sawant is getting us all those details, our managing editor, with his perspective on that. How is this happening? Gaurav, just take us to the details of how the Sikhs for Justice, in fact, is trying every trick in the book to stoke tensions here in India and outside of India as well.
You know, we've seen a series of attacks that have taken place on Indian interests, Indians, and on our temples overseas, whether it's in Australia or in the United Kingdom or in Canada. Initially, some of these had been traced back to radical Islamist organizations like in the United Kingdom, but both in Canada and in Australia, they were traced back to radical Sikh separatists or the Khalistanis. Now, an independent analysis and research by the NCRI has revealed that there is a group of, Sikh separatists, the Sikhs for Justice as they call themselves. They operate multiple social media accounts, whether it's on Twitter or other social media platforms, and then they spam, whether it's your Twitter timeline or other social media platforms with a lot of hate messages, a lot of messages that incite passions, a lot of messages that are actually leading to ill-informed opinion about India and the condition of Sikhs in India. This is being done by hostile forces. Indian intelligence agencies have argued that a lot of these elements are funded by narco-terrorism. They're funded by Pakistan's ISI, and it's been happening for several decades. It's only escalating now. The violence that took place in Australia, the violence that took place in Canada, according to NCRI, and especially if we were to talk about Australia, has been traced back to these accounts that were spewing hate messages and inciting passions against India and Indians overseas.
They use constantly, Twitter for example. What kind of action can be taken by the platform itself?
India has repeatedly been raising these issues with the social media platforms. Several Twitter accounts have been blocked, several have been banned. But since it's a bot operation, they end up acquiring a lot more, and they keep spamming your timeline. They keep sending out these messages. I'm sure it's happened to you. It's happened to a lot of journalists where one after the other they get hundreds of messages. The timeline is flooded with half-truths and absolute lies about what's happening. For example, if internet was cut off in a couple of districts, they said all of Punjab is without internet, or there is atrocities that's happening place, and so on. So they spread canards, and then this is spread wide. Those who are living overseas and don't have access to information then rely on these messages because it's a constant attack on your mind. It's constantly coming on your timeline. So then they get influenced, and then hate messages come up or targeted attacks take place. India has been trying to counter it with facts. Unfortunately, some members of parliament in these countries, they've also played, they're working with these elements because of their vote bank politics, but then India is taking it up very, very seriously with them.
All right, Gaurav, I'm going to thank you for the moment, for getting us those details and putting that into perspective. The Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has given a befitting reply to negative Western perception of India. Well, at the Peterson Institute for International Economics in Washington, D.C., Sitharaman replied to questions about Muslim minorities in India being subject to violence. The Finance Minister slammed Western media and said that India has the second largest Muslim population in the world and that the population of Muslims is only growing in numbers. She also claimed that Muslims continue to conduct normal lives in India. She also went on to say a brand Western write-ups on India's stand on Muslims a complete sham. A delegation of 6 Americans also met the Finance Minister. The delegation said that Khalistani movement is fizzling out due to pro-Sikh steps being taken by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and added that a handful of Khalistanis are giving a bad name to Sikh communities.
India has the second largest Muslim population in the world, and that population is only growing in numbers. If there is a perception, or if there's in reality, their lives are difficult or made difficult with the support of the state, which is what is implied in most of these write-ups, I would ask, will this happen in India, in the sense, will the Muslim population be growing than what it was in 1947? As opposed to, let us say, I take the name of the country and therefore the contrast can be sharper, as opposed to Pakistan, which was formed at the same time. India was divided into 2 Pakistan. Pakistan declared itself an Islamic country, but however is said, minorities will be protected. Every minority has been dwindling in its number, or if I may use the word which is harsher, decimated in Pakistan. Even some of the Muslim sects have also been decimated. Violence prevails against Muhajirs, Shia, and every other group you can name, which is not accepted by the mainstream, I don't know, Sunnis probably. Whereas in India, you would find every strand of Muslim doing their business, their children getting educated, fellowships are being given by the government, and I would want to see where exactly is that one state where And again, law and order is a very state subject. It's not the government of India's subject. Each province has its elected government. They take care of the law and order in those states. So across the board in India, if violence is happening, to make Muslims get affected itself is a fallacy as a statement. It cannot be so. Each province and its police are different. They are run by the elected governments in those provinces. So that itself tells you how these reports have no clue of the law and order systems in India. I would only say, come have a look at what's happening in India, rather than listen to perceptions being built by people who have not even visited on the ground and who produce reports. The first thing is, of course, we are reaching near saturation in providing the basic facilities in India. Earlier, the discussions would be on poverty alleviation. Have we removed this many number of people from out of poverty and lifted them out? Today, the approach of the government is to empower the poor people with at least the basic amenities, and that is give them some good house to live in, which is made of concrete and not this thatched roof, with toilets in them, with drinking water reaching them through pipes, electricity, and a good road, not just to the village but also to the streets in the village, and then connect them to the nearest highway, connect them with good transport facility, and so on. So saturation, financial inclusion, so that each member of the household has a bank account and they get every such benefit which has to reach them, but directly into their bank account rather than through a middle agency. So in each one of these, we are reaching saturation, which means if there are 100 people today who are eligible to get them, they would get. We are nearer 98, 99. And of course, newer people can get added as the population grows. We'll keep attending to them, but saturation should be attained. So that is one of the goals which we'll. Second, we are now focusing very much on skilling people, each according to their level. So skilling centers are now spread all over the country. The gradation of the skilling vary according to individuals, and businesses and private sector entrepreneurs are also tied into it, so that there is a link between the kind of training that businesses want and actually those who are getting the training, so that immediately they can get recruited. So there will be a lot of skilling emphasis. India's digitization program will be going at full throttle, and it will cover most aspects of our lives. Today it covers health, education, and also financial transactions. We expect it to move on to other areas as well, so that there's greater ease of living and transparency. Economy gets even more formal, and therefore with that you find the economy has its full strength coming on board, rather than having a second layer which remains in the grey area.
It's quite unfortunate that a certain perception is being formed about India in the Western press, and a large part of it is because of what the opposition members of parliament and leaders have been saying abroad, particularly people like Rahul Gandhi, who go abroad and make all kinds of sweeping statements about persecution of minorities back in India and seek foreign intervention in India's internal affairs. The Western media has in part formed its perception based on that, and in part on basis of what some factions of the media here speak. But the truth of the matter is very, very different from what they would like to believe. In the last 9 years, the state of minorities in India has improved significantly, whether it is the drop in the girl child education, which was earlier 70%, has now dropped to 30%, scholarships, which have gone up from 3 crore before 2014 to 5 crore now, representation in government jobs, which was a paltry 5% before 2014 and now stands at 10%. Or for that matter, the overall support that is being provided to the members of the minority community, skilling them. Just about 20,000 people in 2014 were skilled, as opposed to 2 million, which is about 20 lakh people post-2014. So these developments that have happened have put the minority community in a very, very good position in India.
Well, finance minister's concern about Muslims in India is welcome. But at the same time, I think she needs to answer that what is the opportunity that is being given to Muslims in India as far as her party is concerned. You see, the highest lawmaking body, that is the parliament, Lok Sabha, where they don't give a single Muslim a seat. No, how can they justify in saying that we are trying to empower Muslims or we are giving them their legitimate share? And you see, I am sorry to say, to tell the Honorable Finance Minister also, that please don't compare Indian Muslims, 200 Indian Muslims who are committed to the growth of their country, the welfare of their country, with Pakistan or with any other country. More particularly, every time we are being just found fault with regard to Pakistan. We don't care what is happening in Pakistan. We are not concerned with the Muslims in Pakistan or Pakistan establishment. Once we have parted from 1947 onwards, we are growing in our country. We are committed to the...
Some news just coming in. The noose seems to be tightening around Amritpal after key aide of Amritpal has been nabbed. Aide Papalpreet taken to Assam jail. Amid tight security, the aide has now been taken to a Dibrugarh jail. Papalpreet Singh, a close aide of Waris Punjab, the chief Amritpal Singh arrived at the Dibrugarh airport. The Punjab police team reached Dibrugarh with him by a Vistara flight. He is being brought to Dibrugarh Central Jail amid tight police security. Amid tight security, the aide of Amritpal has now been taken to Dibrugarh in Assam. These are pictures on your screen. First on India Today of this man who is an aide of Amritpal Singh, who continues to be absconding. A key aide of Amritpal, Papalpreet, has now been taken to custody and he's been taken to a jail in Dibrugarh amid tight security. Kamaljeet is getting us more details. Kamal, we know that Amritpal's closest aide, Papalpreet, was arrested in Amritsar and is facing charges under the stringent provisions of the NSA. What kind of assistance did he provide to Amritpal, and what's been their equation ever since?
You know, Amritpal's closest aide was Papalpreet, and that is why at 42 he is also a former journalist. So wherever he was hiding, it was through Papalpreet's contacts, whether it was Baljeet Kaur in Kurukshetra, whether it was Pilibhit. So Amritpal was really heavily relying on Papalpreet. But what we know is that on 18th of March, when the first time the police went to hunt on Amritpal and his aides, that is when the duo had actually fled together. And on the 28th, especially 28th of March, the second time around when they closed in on Amritpal, then also they were together. But that's the time then they got separate, is what our sources indicate to us. And this is what he's actually told the Punjab police, that since then both of them have been separate. Now this also comes amidst a lot of speculations that perhaps Papalpreet ran out of options and surrendered before Punjab police and eventually was arrested and taken to Dibrugarh. What is important and significant is the sort of network Papalpreet had. He's known to be a hardliner. Today also we know that in Punjab and Haryana High Court, there was a petition on at least 5 of the detainees where questions were asked. And we've been told that even though Punjab government has filed its reply, the court has actually asked Union Government of India to file its reply on the petition regarding the NSA and the maintainability of it all. So all this is going to be extremely crucial. And meanwhile, ahead of Baisakhi, a big shot in the arm coming in for Punjab police with a crucial arrest of Papalpreet. Now the question is, where is Amritpal? If Papalpreet is in the net, can he be far away? And this is where there is a high security which has been formed across several Akal Takhts right here in Punjab, and they are very hopeful that the arrest would be made of Amritpal very shortly. With his key aide under the net and under radar, it is very clear that even Amritpal may be running out of options.
Well, running out of options, and what important leads could he give about the whereabouts of this man who's been absconding for weeks together? I'm going to thank you, Kamal, for getting us those details. In other news, it's a big setback for the Stalin government. The Supreme Court has given the go-ahead for the RSS march in Tamil Nadu. The apex court today dismissed all pleas from the Tamil Nadu government, challenging the nod for the RSS's proposed march in the state. The Stalin government had approached the Supreme Court, seeking a stay on the Madras High Court order, allowing the RSS rally, but now the government has not got any relief from the top court either. The Madras High Court on the 10th of February allowed the route marchers in spite of the state refusing permission, citing the threat of attack on the marchers from the band outfit the Popular Front of India. The government proposed that this rally be restricted to 2 districts, which the RSS challenged. The BJP has now hailed the Supreme Court order and said that this exposes the Stalin government's agenda.
The Supreme Court has dismissed their appeal. At least from now, Mr. Stalin should understand, we should give values for the society, should give values for the discipline, organization like RSS, and I think they may not change. But this is definitely an ideological battle, which we have won.
Pramod Madhav is getting us more details on that story. Pramod, it does appear that the Stalin government at this point in time doesn't really have an option, with the Supreme Court also turning down their plea, isn't it?
Well, on one side, BJP is calling this as an ideological battle and something they have won. But on the other hand, DMK, earlier also, the government, Tamil Nadu government has been stating that they were denying the permission for this march, claiming a kind of threat after the ban of PFI. This is the only explanation that was given by the Tamil Nadu government, that is DMK government, and also they stated that like a march across Tamil Nadu, there is no possible way for them to provide protection. However, the Supreme Court was not ready to accept the explanation by the Tamil Nadu government. Now, we spoke to RSS netas from the state who have said that they have received the verdict only now and they are looking into what should be done in the future. Yet they have to go to the district authorities of each and every district. They have to give them a particular date, and this has to be only, authorized by the Tamil Nadu government and the district authorities. We are waiting from the state government as to what will be done then.
Well, as far as law and order situation concerned, it solely is the state government's responsibility, and we'll wait and watch how that plays out in days and weeks to come, and that rally is carried out by the RSS. Pramod, I'm going to thank you for the moment for getting us those details. A story and much more going up on our website too. That's indiatoday.in. You can also download the India Today app. My colleague Pooja with the latest news in just a bit.
viewers, let's take a look at the weather report across the major cities this morning. Thiruvananthapuram is at 31 degrees Celsius with an AQI of 61. Mumbai is at 31 degrees Celsius with an AQI of 63. Panaji is at 29 degrees Celsius with an AQI of 67. Ahmedabad is at 29 degrees Celsius with an AQI of 142. Bhopal is at 29 degrees Celsius with an AQI of 75. Jaipur is at 28 degrees Celsius with an AQI of 115. Delhi is at 26 degrees Celsius with an AQI of 113. Srinagar is at 13 degrees Celsius with AQI being 68. Lucknow is at 27 degrees Celsius with an AQI of 108. Patna is at 31 degrees Celsius with an AQI of 197. Kolkata is at 33 degrees with an AQI of 146. Hyderabad is at 29 degrees Celsius with an AQI of 136. Bangalore is at 24 degrees Celsius with an AQI of 57. Chennai is at 29 degrees Celsius with an AQI of 74. This is all we have for you in this segment. Hope wherever you are, you find favorable weather around you. Keep watching India Today for all the weather updates with me, AI Sana, all through the day.
Good afternoon and welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Lunch Break. I'm Pooja Shali. Let's begin first with the headlines. Sonia Gandhi writes an editorial slamming government at the centre, says Modi is destroying pillars of democracy, alleges CBI and other institutions are being misused by Modi government. But in Rajasthan, the Congress has infighting to deal with. Pilot versus Gehlot again. Pilot on dharna against his own government. Rajasthan Congress in charge says Pilot is targeting Congress, not Gehlot. Meanwhile, it is ED heat on Tejashwi Yadav over land for job scam. ED questions Tejashwi Yadav over 600 crore rupees proceeds of crime to him. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman is in the United States of America and gave a firm rebuttal to the negative Western perception of India in Washington. Says do not listen to perceptions built by those who have not even visited the ground and are producing reports.
I would only say, come have a look at what's happening in India, rather than listen to perceptions being built by people who have not even visited the ground and who produce reports.
It's big victory for the RSS in the Supreme Court. Plea by the Stalin government to stop an RSS route march on Tamil Nadu has been junked. No decision on BJP ticket even after the CEC meeting. BJP is likely to redo the candidate list. Home Minister Amit Shah, back from Arunachal Pradesh to Delhi, will chair another round of meeting likely today evening. All right, so the big news coming in is from Congress leader and former president of the party, Sonia Gandhi. Breaking her silence, trained her guns directly at Prime Minister Narendra Modi and government at the centre. She wrote an editorial titled, "An enforced silence cannot solve India's problems." Sonia Gandhi has said that Modi-led government at the centre is systematically dismantling pillars of democracy and 3 pillars specifically. So she's mentioned the recent disruptions in the parliament, branding it a government-led strategy to prevent opposition from raising issues like unemployment, inflation and the Adani scam. She's also accused Bharatiya Janata Party and the RSS of egging on hate and violence and Prime Minister Modi of ignoring it. She's also brought out opposition's charge that the government is misusing central investigation agencies, adding the cases against those who joined the BJP are miraculously evaporating. Let's go across to my colleague Akshay Dongre on the ground. Akshay, that's clearly a scathing editorial that she has written. Take us through also some of the other contents of this editorial that Sonia Gandhi has written.
Well, Pooja, clearly it's a very, very scathing attack on the present government because clearly Sonia Gandhi, who is also the chairperson of the Congress parliamentary group, she has directly attacked the Prime Minister, the present-day government, of not just being impartial to the opposition. She has written that all the 3 parts of the government, or rather our country, all the 3 main pillars of our democracy, be it the the legislative, the executive or the judiciary, all of them are being dismembered, all of them are being attacked by the government of our country. Now that's a scathing attack. We are talking about legislative, where Sonia Gandhi has alleged that the financial bill was rammed through the parliament while Prime Minister was in his constituency. When we talk about the judiciary, she has written that many of the former judges, retired judges, have been targeted, have been attacked verbally. She has also written that the executive also is not doing its job properly, because there is systematic dismemberment of the democracy that is going on right now in the government. So that's a very, very scathing attack that has come directly from Sonia Gandhi. It is very rare that she writes, or rather she expresses her opinion politically when it comes to the media, but this elaborate article starts from stating that the Prime Minister's actions speak louder than words, but then when we read that entire article, it goes on to attack Prime Minister on each and every level of the government. She has mentioned about the Adani scam, she has mentioned about other issues that the opposition has been trying to raise, but then there is also a question, Pooja, that why the opposition party is not able to take these matters to the public on the ground. Because if we remember the opposition, when Bharatiya Janata Party was in opposition, we used to see a lot of protest on the ground happening almost every day, be it the LPG price, be it the other inflation issues, be it the corruption issues. All of these battles were
That's the whole
on the
point,
ground.
Akshay, that if the Congress is so strongly believes in what it is saying in editorials, why is it not able to reach out to the masses? Because the BJP is on the ground. Elections in Karnataka, BJP seems to be everywhere with its top star campaigners, while the Congress party is struggling not just for Karnataka, even in Rajasthan. And perhaps that's where this miscommunication, so to say, or lack of communication with people is coming through. Akshay, also do tell us that it appears that the editorial is not just about the government, but directly charges at the Prime Minister as well. Stay on with me, Akshay, because I'm now joined by BJP's Amit Malviya, who's not only heading the IT cell of the BJP, but also co-in charge of Bengal. Mr. Amit Malviya, she says misusing agencies, ignoring the hate and violence, destroying the pillars of democracy. What is the BJP's reply to that?
I think Mrs. Sonia Gandhi is living in a parallel world, and the article that's been penned under her name is without her consent, because if she had read it and corroborated it with what's happening in the real life, she would not have probably lent her name to this article. I want to remind Mrs. Gandhi that when she speaks about misuse of agencies, it is the courts that have put her on the dock as far as the National Herald scam is concerned, and the agencies are investigating it. The lawyers in the Congress party went all out to defend Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi, but did not get any relief from the court. Therefore, for her to allege that there is misuse of agencies seems to be quite far-fetched. Not just that. Recently, Congress party senior advocate Abhishek Manu Singhvi went to the court alleging misuse of agencies, and the Supreme Court found no merit in it. So clearly, either Mrs. Gandhi is not informed about these issues, or she just chose to write an article anyway. Having said that, it is Sonia Gandhi's prerogative to make an argument in the parliament. The parliament was there. It was disrupted by the Congress leaders. Why did she not choose to speak in the parliament? She's still a member of the parliament.
Mr. Malviya, that's exactly what Sonia Gandhi is saying, that the government, or specifically the Prime Minister here, does not even allow the opposition to speak. That's their allegation. Do you think this message that strongly is constantly being reiterated, whether it's by Rahul Gandhi on foreign soil or Sonia Gandhi writing these editorials, eventually it will be the Indian public to decide which narrative or which view do they go with?
Look, repeating a lie again and again won't make it the truth. So Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi can repeat a lie 1,000 times, write editorials, go to foreign shore, make the same intervention, but that's not going to change the reality here in India. The parliament was functioning, there were legislation that were passed, but if Sonia Gandhi chose not to speak, then how is the BJP responsible for it? Do you have any record of the Congress saying that they would like Sonia Gandhi to make a speech in the parliament? I don't remember Sonia Gandhi ever expressing her desire to speak, or the Congress, for that matter, communicating to the chairs that Sonia Gandhi wants to speak. Then how can Sonia Gandhi say that she was not allowed to speak? That is the question. You don't speak in the parliament, you come out and you write editorials which are not rooted in truth. That is the problem. And that is why the Congress has been reduced to the rump that they have been, because people don't take them seriously anymore. They say things which are not born in reality. And that is what is the raison d'etre of the Congress party today. And that is why Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi today remain as irrelevant as they can be.
All right, very important. Mr. Amit Malviya, I appreciate you speaking to India Today. Thank you very much. This is, remember, going to be a big issue that she has written an editorial, very scathing, targeting not just the government at the centre, but directly at Prime Minister Modi, of ignoring all the hate and violence that's erupting across the country. We have some more news coming in. Let's take a look at that. All right, big news coming in. Jagdish Tytler, accused of involvement in the 1984 anti-Sikh violence, is at the CBI's CFSL department to give his voice sample in the same 1984 riots case. He was called in by the Central Bureau of Investigation to present himself. And let's now listen into the reactions coming in on that.
Nothing to do with 84. There's another case which they wanted my voice. So I've given my voice.
So, but that case was also related
to... Ask them, if you ask them, you know, if that is the case, then it will be something makes it. Because बात हुई नहीं है. नहीं कोई और बात.
In your party also there is so much of influx which is happening. Sachin Pilot is sitting on protest.
I don't want to speak on anything. आपने पूछ लिया, मैंने बता दिया.
So that's the big news coming in. This is, remember, another development, and there have been in the past few months, there have been cases that have been reopened, SIT has been started, arrests are taking place, but now Jagdish Tytler, a senior leader of the Congress party, but for long now has been accused of involvement in the 1984 anti-Sikh violence. Now the CBI has sent him a notice, called him at the CFSL laboratory, which is to give his voice sample in the 1984 riots case. Remember, there were some of the videos that were released with regard to by some Sikh leaders themselves that stated that it was Jagdish Tytler's voice. Could these be audios be the same one? Is it to verify that? All of that is being and is consideration of that. This is big. He's been accused of involvement in the violence. And
आज आप CFSL lab आए क्यों आए हैं सर? क्यों आए हैं?
It has been 39 years, sir. What do you have to say about this now? It has been 39 years, sir. Don't you think that now it's a time for you to closure? Say something.
I don't want to say anything.
Why, sir?
I won't let them do it. Let the government do their own job.
Sir, no, the government is doing their own job. But what do you now regret about what you have done?
What have you done? What have I done? Which have we? See again, you are one person. You are one person who makes a person something. What have I done? What have I done? What have I done?
Sir, if you
yourself said 25 years and now you tell me what you have done.
After 39 years, sir.
सर जो वॉइस सैंपल लिए गए
कौन सा आरोप लगाया है?
सर आपको मेन
कौन सा आरोप लगाया? एक जना पुट करे सर, कौन सा आरोप?
सर पुल पंगस मामले में जो एक की डेथ हुई, तीन की डेथ हुई थी और आग लगाई गई थी गुरुद्वारा में, उसके लेकर
उसके तो बारे हुआ ही नहीं बात. उसके बाद हुई नहीं. ये तो बिल्कुल डिफरेंट. पता करो जाके. Nothing to do with that 84 thing.
But Tytler sir, you regret about the entire incident which happened, sir? You've been made as a police suspect. They would have found something evidence now. आपको इसलिए लगाया हुआ है.
If there is one evidence, no, I'm prepared to hang myself. Let me tell you, if there was evidence, one evidence, they would have registered a FIR against me. 30 years they have not done it. They're still doing an inquiry. And now you're asking me, look at the way kind of things which they're saying to me. बिल्कुल गलत बात है, झूठी बात है. कोई केस 84 का नहीं है. There is something else which they wanted my voice.
सर वो क्या बातें थी जो किस मामले को लेकर फिर आए सर?
आप उनसे पूछिए.
और सर किस मामले को लेकर था सर? Sir, because the allegations are not stopping. You came here to give your audio recording samples. So what was it for?
There's one statement they wanted me to. This nothing to do with 84 rights. Nothing to do with it. There's another somebody had put a complaint that Mr. Tytler said something. So they want to know if I had said this. But
so justice has not been given to the victims who were part of this tragedy.
Listen.
And you are accused in that.
No, I'm not accused. Sir. This again, I'm saying, you media have created a hell for me. It's
then
all
why
right.
are you here, sir?
Why? I've told you that there's nothing to be said for.
Sir.
There's another case which they wanted my voice. So I've given my voice.
So, but that case was also related
You
to
ask them, if you ask them, if that is the case, then it will be something makes sense. Because बात हुई नहीं है नहीं कोई और बात
in your party also there is so much of influx which is happening. Sachin Pilot is sitting on protest.
I don't want to speak on anything. आपने पूछ लिया मैंने बता दिया
Of course, a question would also emerge since 1984, calling him now, so many years later, for a voice sample. Just to give you a background, this was about 2018 when some videos were shown in a press conference by one of the Sikh leaders, Manjeet Singh GK as well. Let's go across to Manjinder Singh Sirsa. He's now joining me, BJP leader. Mr. Sirsa, what should one make of this? Should one see this as a development in ensuring that justice is given, that there will be some more accusations that can be now confirmed? Or perhaps is this too little, too late?
No, definitely it's too little, too late. But what we were expecting is that first I was apprised about the case. So the clean sheet was given to him by the CBI. But thereafter, and as I was the General Secretary of the District Gurdwara Management Committee, I filed an application before the concerned magistrate saying that this clean sheet should not be accepted, and we have a credible evidence and which we want to dispose before the court and the CBI. Thereafter, this clean sheet was withdrawn, and the chance was given to the witness, and the witness has given a statement under 164 couple of weeks back, just a few days back, in fact, a week back. So thereafter, now the CBI is duty bound to investigate this case. At the time, in 2018, there was one audio which was recorded by one of the friend of this Jagdish Tytler, who happens to be I don't know, one kind of a business, into some gun business he was there. So whatsoever reason he was with him, and he recorded his statement, which Delhi Gurdwara Management Committee later did a press conference and gave that evidence also to the CBI. Now CBI want to clear one thing, that the statement given by the one of the witness in Pul Pankaj case, they want to collaborate that whether the Jagdish Tytler during his conversation with one of the person is the same case he was talking about. So I think that could be the reason, but certainly last day he has to face the law, and very soon he'll be behind the bars in this case of 1984 Pul Pankaj case.
Mr. Sirsa, I have one more question. You know, at this point, of course, the Congress is also often criticized the manner in which, while people have not had him back in the electoral discourse, but the Congress has been associated with Tytler for a very long time. Even for recent elections in Delhi, there was a mention. How do you look at the political situation? He says media has made the life hell for me when there have been enough serious accusations against him. And now he says this is not even that same case. What does one make of what he's saying?
So first of all, it is not. He has made the health of hundreds and hundreds of Sikhs. He has killed the innocent people, and one of the witnesses, as I told you earlier, has disposed before the magistrate that he was the one who came to the Pulbanksha and killed the innocent people. Secondly, the Congress has been saving all this, not just Jagdish Tytler, but also Sachin Kumar, Kamal Nath, HKL Bhagat. Congress has been time and again saving them. But in spite of their best efforts, we are able to get Sachin Kumar behind bars, and he got a life imprisonment. And we are sure that the same fate Jagdish Tytler will also have. Soon he will be also indicted and convicted in this case. And Jagdish Tytler today saying that this case ka koi matlab nahi, it's totally a wrong statement. Yes, see, the case under which Jagdish Tytler has been called is a case which is related to 1984, where Jagdish Tytler has given some statement in front of one of his friends, who then became a witness and said कि मेरे सामने इसने बताया था कि मैंने इतने सिखों को ऐसे मरवाया. And for that reason only, they have called him for the sample of his voice sample. So it is connected, it is directly connected to 1984, and this case CBI has called because no other case is pending before CBI of Jagdish Tytler. It's the same case of 1984 killings for which CBI has summoned Jagdish Tytler.
We can only hope, Mr. Sirsa, that justice, even if years later, is ensured for the victims of the anti-Sikh riots that took place in 1984. It will never be enough, but at least one step there. And can voice sample at least lead to much more conviction? Perhaps that could be a better step. Manjidhar Singh Sirsa, thank you very much for speaking to India Today. Ashutosh Mishra also joins me. Ashutosh, he says, this is not related to 1984. Media is making hell for me. But for the longest time that we have known, there have been serious allegations that in North Delhi in 1984, a day after the assassination of then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, he was accused of leading a mob and a riot to attack the Sikh community.
Well, Pooja, there have been literally, key evidences in this case who have named Mr. Jagdish Tytler as a key conspirator during the 1984 riots. And this case pertaining to November 1, 1984 at Pulbangash area where he made provocative speeches. Now, since there have been eyewitnesses, those statements have already been
I request you to please stay on with me because we are constantly getting reactions now. Please stay on because RP Singh of the BJP is also now joining me. Mr. RP Singh says, Mr. RP Singh, Jagdish Tytler, while coming out of the CBI CFSL laboratory, says, this has nothing to do with 1984. This is a different case. Now, which different case it is, that he does not elaborate. So, do you want to tell us more about why and how can this voice sample help in any way of a possible conviction of Jagdish Tytler? Because he said, my life has been made hell by you, the media, he says.
Well, he has been boasting at a place where there was a video sting being done on him, where he is boasting that he is trying to influence the judiciary and he's got certain people appointed as the judicial officers, and then he has tried to influence them. But now that news is tightening around him, the gentleman named Abhishek Verma, who was probably his business partner earlier, he didn't allow his narco test to be done. He is also on record. His narco test has been done. He is also on record saying that Mr. Tytler probably used him to influence certain witnesses and sending the witnesses abroad. And those witnesses also prepared to be on record, saying that how they were influenced by money and by getting them assignments and jobs abroad. But ultimately, news is tightening around his neck. And let me tell Mr. Tytler, he might try to do his best, but as a community, we will never forgive and forget what he did to the community and what he did to the
We're saying, is this not too little, too late? 84 pertains the case, or even later, if these videos that have surfaced, and now it's 2023.
You must remember Jallianwala Bagh and Udham Singh. 21 years, but I'm not saying that I'm not asking anyone to follow that process, yes. But yes, this matter has to be pursued, and we will pursue. I've been pushing it personally in court, whether it's the 84 without the exec committee report or Mr. Tytler. And my daughter is a lawyer. She'll pursue after me. We are not going to let go. We'll go through the legal process, whatever is judicial process which is available to us, the course which is available to us. But we'll ensure that Tytler faces the ultimate prosecution.
Well, that's a fair point. For the victims who have suffered, it's never forgotten. So clearly, even in 2023, possibly, if this can lead to any sort of further opening of the cases as well, it could be appreciated. Thank you so much, Mr. RP Singh, for speaking to India Today Television. Listen again as we put all sides to the story of what Jagdish Tytler said when he was coming out of the laboratory and spoke to the media persons.
CBI, anything about it?
Who says I recorded a statement?
So you came here to give your voice sample.
Yeah.
Sir, you were called for voice sampling, sir. The case is very old. Do you think this is agenda?
आज आप CFSL lab आए क्यों आए हैं सर?
क्यों आए हैं?
It has been 39 years, sir. What do you have to say about this? It has been 39 years, sir. Don't you think that now it's a time for you to closure? Say something.
I don't want to say anything.
Why, sir?
I won't let them do it. Let the government do their own job.
Sir, the government is doing their own job. But what do you now regret about what you have done?
What have I done? What have I done? Which have I... See again, you are one person. You are one person who makes it a person something. What have I done? What have I done? What have I done?
Sir, if you
yourself said 25 years and now you tell me what you have done.
After 39 years, sir.
सर जो वॉइस सैंपल्स दिए गए
कौन सा आरोप लगाया है?
सर आपको मेन
कौन सा आरोप लगाया? एक जना पुट करे सर कौन सा आरोप?
सर पुल पंगस मामले में जो एक की डेथ हुई, 3 की डेथ हुई थी और आग लगाई गई थी गुरुद्वारा में, उसके लेकर
उसके तो बारे हुआ ही नहीं बात. उसके बाद हुई नहीं. ये तो बिल्कुल डिफरेंट. पता करो जाके. It nothing to do with that 84 84 thing.
Tytler sir, you regret about the entire incident which happened, sir? You've been made as a key suspect. They would have found something evidence now.
If there is one evidence, no, I'm prepared to hang myself. Let me tell you, if there was evidence, one evidence, they would have registered a FIR against me. 30 years they have not done it, they're still doing an inquiry. And now you're asking me, that look at the way kind of things which they're saying to me. बिल्कुल गलत बात है, झूठी बात है, कोई केस 84 का नहीं है. There is something else which they wanted my voice.
सर वो क्या बात थी किस मामले को लेकर फिर आए सर?
आप उनसे पूछिए.
सर किस मामले को लेकर था सर? Because the allegations are not stopping. You came here to give your audio recording samples. So what was it for?
There's one statement they wanted me to. This nothing to do with 84 rights. Nothing to do with it. There's another somebody had put a complaint that Mr. Tytler said something. So they want to know if I had said this. But
so justice has not been given to the victims who were part of this tragedy.
Listen.
And you are accused in that case?
No, I'm not accused. Sir. This again, I'm saying, you media have created a hell for me.
So
it's
all
right.
Why are you here, sir?
Why? I've told you that there's nothing to do with 84. Sir. There's another case which they wanted my voice. So I've given my voice.
So, but that case was also related
to... Ask them, if you ask them, you know, if that is the case, then it will be something makes it. Because... बात हुई नहीं है. नहीं कोई और बात.
In your party also there is so much of interest which is happening. Sachin Pilot is sitting on protest.
I don't want to speak on anything. आपने पूछ लिया, मैंने बता दिया.
So let's get more information and updates coming in from Ashutosh Mishra. Ashutosh, we heard now the full excerpt of what he had said, and it's very interesting. He said, I'm not even an accused. If they really wanted to take action against me, they would have filed an FIR. Nothing has been done properly. And importantly, he says, if one evidence also comes, I'll hang myself. That's the level of confidence that Jagdish Tytler has right now. So how are we looking at this voice sample issue that he's just given a sample about?
There is very old say, Pooja, that the justice and the process of justice are two different things. And sometime when the process of justice is disrupted, interrupted, including the investigation, then surely it ends up to the denial of justice. As far as this case is concerned, pertains from November 1, 1984. Mr. Jagdish Tytler was on the stage, who was leading the crowd, and there were provocative statements made. Now, these all statements were confirmed by the key eyewitnesses in this case, where the statements were also recorded under CRPC 164. We can surely confirm from our sources that this was indeed the same case, since those cases are already being investigated by, say, the Central Bureau of Investigation. And exactly in this case investigation, CBI summoned Mr. Tytler to appear before the CFSL, and almost in 2 hours of the process, he recorded his voice sample to the CFSL. Now that will lead to the further forensic investigation. The voice samples will be matched, and then it will probably lead to the justice to the victims of the 1984 riot.
Ashutosh, stay on with me. Shehzad Poonawala of the Bharatiya Janata Party is also now joining me. Shehzad, clearly for the Sikh leaders, it's never too little too late. But here Jagdish Tytler says, I will hang myself if there is evidence. There is no evidence. They haven't filed any proper FIR against me. They haven't taken any action against me. So he is very confident that he's just being wrongly framed.
You look, whatever is his defense, he has to give it in a court of law. He has to give it before the agencies. There's no need to play a victimhood card. But the question really is that why does the Congress extend its hands to all the kinds of rioters? The Congress said, Bada Ped Girta Hai, Dharti Hilti Hai for 1984 genocide. The Congress party defended Sajjan Kumar for 34 years. It took Modi government to come to power. Then he got convicted. The Congress party has been promoting Jagdish Tytler, made him in charge of Delhi NCD elections. They gave him posts in Delhi Working Congress. So therefore, today the Congress has to tell us that why do they rub salt into the wounds of the Sikh community? If they don't, they should distance themselves from Jagdish Tytler and let him get a clean sheet, and then they can take him. But because the Gandhi family has always had a hatred for the Sikhs, they continue to patronize Jagdish Tytler.
Voice sample, Shehzad, will voice sample really lead to opening of the cases against him or to a possible conviction with serious accusations against him of leading a riot mob at the Pulbangash Gurdwara in North Delhi a day after Indira Gandhi was shot dead? That's a very fair question to also ask about how can voice sample really have that much of significance?
You see, I don't want to get into speculating about the quality and the nature of the evidence. That is for a court of law. And questions to decipher. My point is on the political and moral front. Does the Congress party continue to back the likes of Sajjan Kumar and Jagdish Tytler?